888-354-2840.
Optima Tax Relief.
Some restrictions apply. For complete details, please visit OptimaTaxRelief.com.
Hey everyone, it's Ted from Consumer Cellular, the guy in the orange sweater, and this is your wake-up call. If you're paying too much for wireless service, you don't have to keep having that nightmare. Consumer Cellular has the same fast, reliable coverage as the leading carriers for less. And for a limited time, new customers receive their second month free when they sign up and use promo code SECONDFREE by January 26th. So why keep spending more than you have to? Seriously, wake up and call 1-888-FREEDOM or visit consumercellular.com.
Taxes, fees, and other third-party charges will apply. See website for additional details.
The following heartwarming yet informative scene is brought to you by Trust and Will.
Son, your grandpa and I used to work on this car together, and when I'm gone, I want you to have it.
Wow. Thanks, Dad.
Doesn't count. What you need is a will. Luckily, Trust and Will makes it easy. Designed by attorneys, but customized by you, you can easily create a state-specific, legally valid document that actually counts. Now, let's let the engine do the talking, am I right? Start your will at trustandwill.com. Use offer code COUNT for 10% off and make it count. Trust and Will is an online estate planning service. For details, see trustandwill.com.
Philadelphia's Talk Radio 1210 WPHT, WPHT HD, WOGL HD3, Philadelphia. From the Piazza Premium Automobile Studios.
Powering your drive with 10 brands and 20 locations.
Always live on the free Odyssey app. It's Dom time. Now, Dom Giordano.
It is Dom time. I have the salmon shirt. That's for later, though. Today, we want to get off to a running start. Boy, Dave McCormick, get the pineapple juice. I'm serious, Texas people before the interview. That will cut whatever it is. You know, he's been talking too much, over-talking, yelling at all these events. That's what happens. It's a real pitfall. He'll be here at 12:30. I'm fascinated because we saw the crypto stuff this week with President and First Lady Trump. $50 billion. McCormick wants to make Pennsylvania, the crypto capital of the world. But there's a lot of other stuff, too. He'll be here at 12:30 today. We're still waiting on the first actions by Tom Homan, at least that I can see, around illegal immigration. Stories this morning where President Trump looks to send the U.S. military to the border if necessary to curtail some of the areas that Texas has trouble with. It's a new day. Just one note yesterday. If you missed it, and I understand weather and the like, and a lot of people were there forever yesterday, so thank you. It was a spectacular talk radio event. So well staged, so well produced, and just a day that you will not forget. So think about the next one coming up. We're not announcing it yet, but in the near future.
Moot court debate?
Oh, with Linda Kearns, yes. Well, seriously, we come up with a topic. I'm ready. I know she's a great lawyer, but, you know, it's not just about lawyering. We won't be in a courtroom. We're in the court of public opinion, and that's where I think she has a disadvantage. Mm-hmm. So we'll try to work that out. Several things have happened today around this whole deal with, of course, the J6 situation. And I thought yesterday, I was kind of surprised. We still don't know the 6 that were only commuted and the others pardoned. I thought from the signals Vance was sending that there were going to be some people that would just be commuted, probably, not the whole group pardoned. And we hear there was a heck of a debate inside the Trump camp over whether to do that or not. And it's being received by the Trump base, I think, pretty well. And I wanted to get to that the one thing President Trump is very consistent about, you know, he calls it the weave himself. One thing that he's very consistent about is the Trump base. And that's why Vivek Ramaswamy is shuffling off to Ohio to run for governor. I'm sure running for governor is a stepping stone. You could look, Vivek has already been in the presidential ring. He did spectacularly on his feet. He's brilliant and all that. But over the holidays, he exposed himself. Now, Elon Musk did it a bit, and Trump supports the HB1 thing, bringing these people into the country. But over the holidays, when listenership may be down a little bit, you know, and people are thinking holidays versus calling me at that point, we were flooded with calls. When Vivek Ramaswamy talked about, the line was, we need fewer sleepovers and more of these math Olympiads. And remember the whole array of things in which he showed that he didn't think American culture, by and large, was good. And look at where he ends up. This isn't by happenstance. Well, Tom, come on, you can't talk about that. That's internal inside. Oh, no, that's what happened. And they were fortunate. He is from Ohio, the governor's race. But, he's already in Republican circles a household name. He doesn't have to prove executive experience or anything else. The only reason he didn't do better is President Trump was in this race. He more than held his own with people like Mike Pence and DeSantis and others in debates. But he showed his antagonism, or it's viewed, toward MAGA, toward America, and wanting to replace with all these wonderkins, many of them from India. And I think internally that didn't fly. And I think that's why he's out. And I think it's a good thing. I thought it was personally offensive. And we made the point again and again and again. There may be 5 people in other parts of the world that could be useful in high tech or something else. Okay, prove it to me. This is America. We still have hundreds of millions of people, and we have millions that are the best and the brightest across any number of fields. So you can talk about all the failures, all that stuff, but you have to recognize the greatness that's there. That's why it's America. He did not. I'm glad to see it. 855-839-1210. You can get on board. Now, as far as the J6 stuff, I could go case by case. I don't know. I haven't seen what they've seen, but I think there are people that should have remained in jail. Now, we can go sentence by sentence. Were there things done here? Was there overkill? Without a doubt. Some people, it was a misdemeanor at best, and they're locked up just because it's January 6th. It was excessive. Scott Jennings made this point, sort of. He was under a lot of fire on CNN yesterday. Of course, they went to him around all this. And Jennings made the point that what about the summer of 2020? Cut 6.
Audacious what he has accomplished, winning this election and taking office today. And you said you were in shock. Well, Republicans are in awe.
What about with the pardons? What's your take on that?
Here's what I think. Were these people punished? Yes. Were they ruined financially? Yes. Did they spend time in jail? Yes. Have their lives been ruined? Absolutely. And one of you said earlier, Van or Axe, that you think this sends a terrible signal that you can get away with things like this, as though we've never had a moment in recent American history when people were not punished for rampaging around when they shouldn't have been. It was the summer of 2020. And these people were actually punished. Those people were never even charged.
All right, that's an interesting point, and I share that with Scott Jennings. But are there still people that should have? I'm not going to, gloss over this. Some of the pardons, commutations, I think are out of line. People did attack some of the cops there. There's no getting around that. So if you have a sense the provocation was enough, and you heard what Jennings said there, and he's accurate on that, you can tell me. I don't think you should, as we really are boosted here in the Trump years, I don't think you should take everything that comes out of the Trump, like anything else, as an article of faith. Feel free. You don't have to go along with every single thing. The best example was the HB1 visa thing. I'm laying the other side from President Trump on that, and Elon Musk, and certainly Vivek Ramaswamy. America first means we don't need these people coming in displacing Americans. I don't care who says it. I'm on that other side. It says America first means that. And as far as police, I'm always going to stand with the police, and I'm not going to gloss over some of the attacks. Now, local news and some of the others telling us that cops were killed that day, that's not true. We need to deal in the truth here. So I would have liked to have seen a more surgical thing here. That would have been my wish with the pardoning of the J6 group. But to Jennings' point, any number of people here have had their lives ruined completely, almost completely, undeservedly so. And just pointing to the difference with how the summer of love was handled for George Floyd, there's a big difference. That's a smart point to make, to point that out. The Trump people have moved very quickly. I'm looking at a story that you're going to see more of this. The commander of the U.S. Coast Guard has been fired, citing border, recruiting concerns, and eroded trust, a senior Department of Homeland Security official confirmed to Fox News. The Admiral Linda Lee Fagan was fired by the acting Secretary of Homeland Security, Benjamin Huffman. They say that she has demonstrated poor leadership, operational failures, and an inability to advance the Coast Guard's strategic objectives. And they essentially say that she engaged in much more of DEI than anything else that made the Coast Guard a first-class organization. All right, so I'd love to get your take on the January 6th pardons. On a scale of 1 to 10, certainly there's an upside here that we've talked about, a righting of wrongs as people are continuing to be released today. But I just think it goes a bit too far. That's where it is. That's where it is with me, and that's what I'm going to say with every Trump policy. The star yesterday of all the policies are the things related to the border, and of course, close to home, the other thing is the wind hiatus, that we take a look at this and then we make a determination. All right, let me give you the side question today. Given that Oval Office, a lot of back and forth, what people do to get to 1600 Pennsylvania Avenue is huge, the White House, you can be a billionaire. You can be a several-time billionaire, but only one person gets to be president. Hit us with that all-time office, that all-time address, real or fictional. All-time address. It could be a fictional one. It can be a real one. But do call right now, too. I want to talk with you about January 6th at 855-839-1210, AT&T and Verizon Wireless. All you have to do is push pound 1210. Do you see this as a 10, meaning completely justified, or somewhat less than that? A lot of people who were swooped up into this. It was revenge. They couldn't get at Trump. There was no insurrection charge, nothing like that. So they put people into a dilemma where if they lost on the misdemeanor thing, they were going to go to jail for a long time that was bumped into a felony, or were they going to plead to the misdemeanor? And then in many cases, they overkilled as far as the punishment. All right, so I'll take the North Pole off. Dan, how about you?
How about 30 Rock, an entire show
Rock?
based on
Exactly.
the address, 30 Rockefeller Center being the headquarters of NBC.
Absolutely. Henry, do you have one?
Yeah, how about we take off the legendary work ethic of one fry cook? That would be SpongeBob SquarePants, his address of 124 Conch Street of Bikini
That was a
Bottom.
very good one. Okay, that's a good one. All right, hit us with that. J6, we're coming to you on your calls, 855-839-1210, AT&T and Verizon Wireless. All you need to do is push pound 1210 on a scale of 1 to 10. Just tell me, if you think it's a 10, we can differ. I don't see it that way, but I get it in the context of what's happened here. A little bit surprised it went this far. Don't know the 6 commuted yet. Is it just, yeah, well, we're in charge now. We're going to pardon. Look at what Biden did. Remember, there were police involved here, albeit in more limited action than the Democrats and left would have you believe. And Scott Jennings' comments about the summer before, the summer with George Floyd, are certainly part of the context when you figure these things. All right, 855-839-1210.
I need you. I want you, got to have your child. Great God in heaven, you know I love you.
Hi, it's John DeMasi, host of Health Watch, a live call-in show airing every Sunday morning at 8 a.m. on WPHT. What would you do to protect yourself this cold and flu season? Well, medical hydration therapy at Innovative Medical Associates could help to boost your immune system. That's because vitamin C and other key nutrients are delivered intravenously, right to your cells. Medical hydration therapy may even lessen symptoms should you become ill with a virus or suffer with long COVID or post-COVID conditions. Dr. Molly Fantasia at Innovative Medical Associates prescribes a personalized treatment plan for every patient.
We are a medical facility. We treat our IV protocols or our hydration protocols as a medical modality.
Learn more about the benefits of medical hydration therapy at innovativemedicalassociates.com. And be sure to join Dr. Molly and me on Sunday mornings at 8 and again at 4 for Health Watch on Talk Radio 1210 WPHT.
Virtua Health, real patients, real doctors, real complex cases. Take one.
Open heart surgery, tear in my aorta.
The most complex cases come to us at Virtua Health.
I'm sure I wouldn't have been here without you.
Being a 45-year-old, not being able to walk up one flight of stairs, I had no idea I was in heart failure.
Virtua is a premier heart failure center in South Jersey.
They changed my life. It's truly a blessing.
Want to follow our stories? Go to virtua.org. Virtua Health, here for good.
Make your home renovation dreams come true with Emmons Remodeling.
We handle everything from concept to completion, delivering beautiful, functional spaces for you and your family to enjoy.
Our seasoned designers and construction experts ensure your project is completed on time and on budget.
Give us a call today at 856-885-6677 or visit callemmons.com.
From top to bottom,
to inside and out,
at Emmons, we have you covered.
See Joe Conklin with the City Rhythm Orchestra. It's Philly sports put to music at Westchester University in Pittman, New Jersey, February 21st and 22nd.
Love the orchestra.
Joe's great. He encapsulates a Philly sports fan.
Oh, I love the music. I especially like the old songs from Philly.
The impressions of different voices. That's Conklin and City Rhythm at Westchester University on Friday, February 21st. And at the Broadway Theater in Pittman, New Jersey, Saturday, February 22nd. For tickets, go to joeconklin.com.
JoeConklin.com! Tune in to Crash Proof Retirement Show, Saturdays at 11 a.m. to hear Phil Cannella and Joanne Small. The Crash Proof Retirement Show, Saturday mornings at 11 on Talk Radio 1210.
Hair Volume is the best-selling hair tablet in the world and one of the many award-winning natural hair products from New Nordic. Purchase at newnordicusa.com or CVS.
Hey, Mount Laurel. We know your favorite station is WPHT. Tell your smart speaker to play 1210 WPHT.
All right, Dr. Giordano show. Welcome in. So we have the January 6 pardons. We also have the awaiting the moment today where we start to see ICE move into operation. I did a national show last night, was told by somebody from the Heritage Foundation that due to leaks and all that, Chicago, they perceived it would be happening today. That's where we're going. So I do hope Homan is ready to move, and we see it start to play out. It's going to take about a year and a half just to clean up the over 1 million that have orders to deport and or criminal behavior. All right, let's go to John in Northeast Philly. And John, you're on Talk Radio 1210. Good afternoon, John.
Good afternoon, Dom. Thanks for taking my call.
You're welcome.
Dom, when you're a cop, a dirty cop, when you're a dirty prosecutor or even a dirty judge, and you're found guilty of something or there's suspicion, every case, every arrest you made, every case you prosecuted, or every verdict you came down with is in question because you were part of you were corrupt. Well, shouldn't that be shouldn't it be the same for these folks, these J6 folks, because that panel was way corrupt. I mean, why else would they get rid of all that evidence? They were part of a corrupt organization.
Well, but wait a minute. Remember, though, the J6 committee, they're not the ones that are trying these criminal cases. We have footage, John, et cetera, of this. We have now, we have the FBI involved. We have the Fact that the FBI was penetrating this with people. We still haven't gotten to the bottom of some of that. I hear you on that. But, John, I got to tell you, I got to be honest. You really think there were not people there that engaged violently with police?
Well, Dom, no, I'm not stupid enough to think that. No, I'm not. But I was reading up on some of these cases. One of these guys, Roseanne Boylan, got knocked to the bottom of a pile, and then a female cop started nightsticking her, and all this one guy did was pull the female cop off of Roseanne Boylan. I think he got like 7 years for that.
Well, right. Look, that's why I said surgically on this, John. And that's exactly right. And that takes a lot. I thought Vance was signaling us of that. And I think they have to talk. For me, maybe you differ. I think they got to talk more specifics. Give us the specific cases. We know these did happen. We know the only person killed that day was Ashley Babbitt. But again, let me put it to you this way, John. I am so pro-law enforcement, even though the Capitol Police leave something to be desired to a degree, that anybody engaged with them, I'm looking long and hard at that. My conscience is on that. The other point that you make, though, there are hundreds who were overcharged, never should have been charged, et cetera, and they were browbeaten in an attempt for revenge on Trump, and there was no insurrection. It was never even charged, John. Is it too much?
Tom, I got you.
Yeah.
I understand. You can't. It was just mass chaos. You couldn't tell who the good guys were or the bad guys. You couldn't tell who was in Antifa, who was an FBI plant, and that's all well and good. But there were 2 or 3 cops that right after that January 6th, they killed themselves.
Yes.
Now, I don't know, Dom. I guess you could sit around and over a couple of cocktails and think about maybe why they did that. But I saw one cop, and I was a cop. I saw one cop push a guy off a 3rd floor wall. Now, that guy wasn't doing anything other than climbing up the wall. Pushed him over a third floor wall up at the Capitol.
Oh, no, wait a minute, John. As a former cop, look, I defend cops all the time in the heat of the battle. I hear what you're saying, but when you're under attack like that, my gut instinct, despite the fact these are not Philadelphia police or something like that who are really under attack, it's to support cops. It always is.
Dom, I get it. I don't know whether I love cops more or I hate Democrats more. I have not.
I'm going to use that line. So, John, I got to go long and hard. I hear what you're saying in this instance, but I go long and hard in gray areas. Frank Rizzo always used to say, I don't need you when it's black and white. I need you in the gray areas. And most of these things with cops, they're under fire, et cetera. So, look, I would have been satisfied if we saw a list of 8 to 10 people here that we said, you know what, no, they did the wrong things here. And the others, given the totality of what you're bringing to this and all, I'm in agreement. They should have been commuted and or pardoned, and a lot of them should have been pardoned.
I got you. All right, Dom, thank you.
Thank you, John. Thanks very much. That's, it's the devil's in the details on this. And again, I know the Trump people were all over this, and I think Vance indicated to us they recommended that some of them know the sentence, relatively speaking, was just. A lot of people, excessive, though. And they've been in some harsh conditions in prison. They were trying to break them. They're trying to connect this to Trump. That's what it's about, more than anything. And I get Scott Jennings' point. What about the George Floyd summer and what we've seen here? So does that mean none of them then deserve the punishment they got? No, I don't think that's the case. All right, John, though, great call as a former cop. And again, cops were under fire here. There were some people there. Now, do I know case by case were these FBI plants, were the other people that were in there? There was some of that going on, without a doubt. Now, when Kash Patel gets in there, hopefully, we're going to see more of an accounting of the FBI and who did what here. But until then, this is a bit murky. So 855-839-1210, you get a line. AT&T and Verizon Wireless, all I need you to do is push pound 1210, and we'll get you on board. As far as the immigration stuff, the border movement to secure it is well underway. I'm just wondering when Tom Homan is going to move on his part. And I realize the leaking, the differences and all that, that's a bit problematic now. Maybe not Chicago or New York. I'm monitoring to see if he's just waiting a day or so in order to have a better zone to operate in, because media is just waiting for violence, something of that nature, kids involved, to try to trash the whole thing. The big news yesterday was this, though, so that I don't forget. And Dave McCormick's coming up. Laken Riley, the bill passed on Inauguration Day. Now, you and I may think it's pretty simple. So what? This ought to be common sense. And Democrats didn't even fight a ferocious battle. 12 of them, 12 Democrats went along with the Republicans in the Senate. So now we just have to have the House and Senate come together, and Laken Riley is going to be law. Here's what it points to then, this dilemma. How is it that 12 Democrat senators, they're under fire? They feel if they don't vote for this in the midterms, they could be defeated. How is it Madeline Dean, Mary Gay Scanlon, the Houlihan, all voted against Laken Riley? What is wrong with these people in the suburbs here? I mean, two of these Democrats were in Georgia. So Laken Riley there, you can imagine there's heat. But Sheenan was in New Hampshire. There's a guy in Arizona. Kelly is in Arizona. Mark Kelly. I mean, they're seeing the light. They're under pressure. I'm not saying they agree with it. They hate they had to vote that way. How in the world do we sit here, though, and these three women are able to get away with this? Brendan Boyle voted for it. He's in Philadelphia. How in the world are they able to roll the dice like this and say, you can't do anything to us? We're in the Philadelphia suburbs. We're for illegal immigration. We're for mushroom country. Now, I know the media is not framing it that way, but Laken Riley passed yesterday with 12 Democrats voting for it. That is such a big improvement. People are the smarter ones are getting it, that Trump won a mandate on this. America wants this done. Big time. That's why they voted for it. They're afraid. And we won Pennsylvania. How is it we're in this situation and we just can't move the needle around here? All right, 855-839-1210. I'm struck, too, of how quickly they removed the commandant of the Coast Guard, DEI. Everything else was deficient. Let's go to Ira. He's in Deptford. And Ira, you're on Talk Radio 1210. Hey, Ira, afternoon. What do you have today?
Good afternoon, everyone. I have an address for you that most people know by another name.
Okay, sure.
One World Trade.
Yeah, the World Trade Center. Absolutely.
Yes, sir.
Absolutely. Thank you, Ira. Let's go to Brian in Churchville, Talk Radio 1210. Hey, Brian, afternoon.
Hey, Dom, how you doing? I
Good.
just wanted to tell you that, so I live in Churchville now, and the reason I live in Churchville is because we bailed on the city. And during the Summer of Love, it was, it was craziness. And none of those people got tried. And not just the fact that they didn't get tried, it's the fact that on Trump's end, they destroyed evidence, videotape evidence. And I just think they threw the book, and a lot of these people have been in prison for 4 years. Anywhere else, they would have got less time. And you can be pro-cop.
Wait a minute, though, Brian. Some of them, you were right. But you think nobody did anything that day that would be worthy of a pretty significant sentence?
Well, I also think if you find out, like if Cash gets in there and you find out that there was multiple FBI informants, or if it was like the alphabet soup agencies and they didn't reel stuff in, or people didn't have, there was insanity. Like, listen, I'm a nurse and I worked down at Pennsylvania Hospital at the time. There was insanity down the city. There was like basically National Guard and people firebombed pharmacies and took basically to get narcotics and stuff. And they,
Brian, look,
they
nobody's in more agreement. Nobody's a bigger enemy of Larry Krasner than I and the whole system there. I'm just saying, though, my instincts are toward cops, and some cops were attacked in this, and those people, I think, should get justified punishment. How about this? The bottom line for me is, and maybe you differ on this, I think the Trump people ought to come forward. They ought to talk about why all these were, there was nobody that they didn't commute or pardon in this. Does that seem fair?
Yeah, but do you also? I'm gonna ask a question to you too, like just on the other side of stuff. If someone destroys evidence for your trial and you can't see any of that stuff, and people were able to prevent stuff from happening, I just think it's one of the few times where I'm like, there's like basically there's no repercussions and it went one way. And
I hear it.
You could be a pro-police officer and then realize, like...
I hear what you said about the J6 commission, but he
was honest. He was honest that he was going to pardon people. And the other thing is, I think you're right. He might have not looked at a case-by-case basis, but I think as soon as Biden...
pardon. Okay, that changed it. Thank you, Brian. I take your point. Coming up, we're going to talk with Senator Dave McCormick with us for an inside look at what's happening and crypto. That's here on Talk Radio 1210. Hey, looking to achieve your health goals and start the new year right, now's the time to optimize and support your heart health, cholesterol, digestive health, energy levels, and more with Rescue Natural Supplements with their New Year's savings. Rescue is celebrating, and you can save 35% on single bottles of Rescue supplements. Use the code HEALTH35. Try the popular Rescue 1250 Omega-3 for heart health, Rescue Probiotic for better digestion, or Rescue Oracine for more energy. Whatever your health goals, Rescue has you covered. To place an order, call 800-26-ALIVE, 800-262-5483. Speak to a Rescue product consultant or shop online at res-q.com, res-q.com. Start your journey to better health. Do it today. Use that code HEALTH35. Again, save 35% on all single supplements with that code HEALTH35. Don't wait. Make this year your best yet with Rescue.
Weather sponsored by Wawa.
The core of the coldest air has settled in across the Delaware Valley. It'll be partly to mostly cloudy, high around 20, but feeling colder with the wind. Tonight, very cold once again, becoming partly cloudy, low 10 for the city, single digits in the suburbs, and continued cold on Wednesday, becoming mostly sunny with a high 22.
Right now, Wawa Rewards members can get a bonus offer for $1 any size hot coffee, $2 iced coffee, and $3 Monster Energy 16-ounce. Not a rewards member? Now is the time to join.
Now back to the Piazza Auto Group Studios. Experience the power of one with 8 brands and 25 locations. This is Talk Radio 1210, WPHT.
All right, Dom Giordano Show, big issues, big guests. Let's go to newly minute Senator Dave McCormick with a lot to talk with him about. Crypto, big in the news, but let's go inside what happened at the inauguration. Senator, welcome back. Thank you for joining us.
Hey, good morning, or good afternoon, Dom. How are you?
Very well, and we heard you a little bit this morning. We're engaged in this. Occupational hazard, water down some pineapple juice. Try that today.
A little too much of enthusiastic celebration of making America great again. Yeah. So forgive me.
I'm telling you, when I go through it, you can be perfectly healthy. That cuts through it. You put a little bit of that in there, and I think you'll get through the afternoon. That's what I've had to do over the years.
You got it, Dom. I'll try it.
All right, let us know. So, Senator, your observations inside there, one of 600 people, it was a great setting, a regal setting. I still prefer the outdoor, the majesty of it. What's your biggest takeaway, though, from the Trump speech?
Well, I was standing about 15 feet away from the president, right in front of him, and I thought it was a great speech. I thought it did 3 things. I thought he captured the state of things, which you have to do, that America, up until this moment, is in a state of decline. And we need shock therapy to get it back on track. I think the second thing he did, he was very prescriptive about what he's going to do. It was right out of the playbook, right out of what he campaigned on. That's not usual to inauguration speeches. There's sort of this soaring rhetoric. he was very prescriptive. Here is the promises I made and what I'm going to do to serve the American people, to serve the people of Pennsylvania. And then the third thing he did, which I loved, was he ended with the soaring rhetoric, the exceptionalism of America, the coalition he built among African Americans and Latinos and people that are working in the trades, working families. And he said, I won't let you down. And I thought, while he was tough and held accountable to previous administration, I thought he ended on a note of optimism and unity, which is exactly what I think we need at this moment. And I thought it was well received, and I thought he did a great job.
So a blend. Bill O'Reilly talks with the president, Dave, a good bit. And he keeps asking, what do I have to do to get on Mount Rushmore, so to speak? We're not sure if he really means a mountain or he means, and that's a good guidestone for him. And O'Reilly said the reason he called out Biden to his face there, he feels they went after the family in a personal manner, if not Biden, whoever was doing the bidding, pretty much in an unprecedented manner. And I think any fair person would say that's true. Well, do you just look past that and be polite, or do you call it as you see it?
Well, I thought he did both in some ways. I thought he called it as he saw it, the devastation of 4 years of terrible leadership. But, he didn't personalize it. He basically said this is what poor leadership has brought to America, and then we need strong leadership. And so I thought it was the best of both and the peaceful transfer of power. And listen, in that, you spoke about the majesty in that rotunda. I walked in there, and when it's empty, it's magnificent with that cathedral ceiling and these statues all around you of Abraham Lincoln and Dwight Eisenhower, Ronald Reagan, and the great people that have made our country what it is. But to have the inauguration there and to have President Trump at this moment, a unique president, to have won in his 45, lost, and then won again, and to be the 47th president at this transformational moment. I mean, honestly, I had to pinch myself to feel like I'm part of that, and want to do everything I can to deliver on my promises and President Trump's promises to the people of Pennsylvania.
So last night I'm sitting in nationally, and I mentioned that you and I had a conversation. In the middle of it, you started talking about crypto, and I went, hello, what the heck's going on here? I saw the Trump meme coin and then the First Lady's drop. Now, I can't imagine, I know this is a different vehicle. Can you explain how you would have $50 billion valuation? Are you savvy to that, how that happened with the president, that it's that valuable when he dropped that the other day?
I really can't. I don't know enough. I don't know enough to know how that occurred. What I mentioned to you the other day is that I think crypto and blockchain technology is the next great wave of innovation for our country. Other countries are competing for leadership there, and I've lived through a couple of these. You and I both have. The mobile device revolution, the PC revolution. The cloud revolution, the AI revolution, that's what crypto and blockchain is. And the reason it's so important is because it's sort of reinforcing freedom and liberty in that it takes financial actors like banks out of the process and allows people to control their own transactions. And despite what some people have said, it actually is very helpful for our national security because it makes transparent when transactions are happening on blockchain, even though it keeps anonymous who's doing those transactions. So the law enforcement people really love it. So I think we need to be on this next great wave of innovation, and it's a big deal in Pennsylvania. There's thousands of young people who are employed by crypto firms in the Allentown, Bethlehem area and around Philadelphia. And that's something that I want to champion.
I know. It is stunning to me, though. It's right in front of our nose. A huge story here. And that's why, each time we talk, I wanted to bring it up again. So in addition to that, the other thing that's out there, I wanted to get I'm not sure if it comes into any of your committees. Where are you with TikTok at this moment? What's your reaction to, I guess, this holding pattern we're on right now as far as how to deal with it?
Yeah, well, I think it starts with it's a real threat. like a Chinese Communist Party owned TikTok, which has 170 million users, where they control the content. Most of them young people, they control the content through an algorithm where they're able to shape the opinions of people and have the data, is a risk to our national security. So I think the law that Congress put in place and even the actions President Trump took in his first administration were appropriate. That's a real risk. Now, there's a law that was passed which essentially laid out a path for TikTok or ByteDance, the owner of TikTok, to sell to a non-Chinese actor. And that's the process that's being, I guess, considered right now, and President Trump's in the middle of it. And I think if there's anybody that can figure out a creative way to have TikTok still exist within the United States, but have it not be owned by the Chinese Communist Party, it's President Trump. And that's the process that he apparently is undertaking at this point. But in the end, we can't have the Chinese Communist Party owning TikTok, and that's the resolution we need to get to.
Talk about Senator Dave McCormick. Now, on all the committees you serve on, is there something relatively imminent for people back here in Pennsylvania that you want to bring them up to, that you're really interested in, going to be involved in the process?
Yeah, I'm on, as you and I talked about many times during the campaign, energy. I'm on the Energy Committee. President Trump signed an executive order. I'll be honest with you, I haven't read through all the executive orders yet. There was a flurry of them. But one of his executive orders was to declare a national emergency around energy. And the reason that's so important, it allows him to, almost overnight, reduce red tape, increase energy production, and increase the investment in energy infrastructure. And that's what we want to do, both through executive orders and through legislation that'll happen through my committee in the Senate. And that's, I always said this, that's the long pole in the tent of Pennsylvania's economic future. It's great for our economy. It creates these great paying jobs, and all the jobs that are contingent to those great paying jobs, restaurants, hotels, all the different things that it contributes to our economy. It's great for our national security to be an energy exporter, energy dominant, and it's great for the environment, particularly to have that natural gas coming out of Pennsylvania, the second largest energy producer in America and the fourth largest natural gas producer in the world. So energy is going to be at the top of my agenda.
Let me ask parting question for you, Senator McCormick with us. President, I get energy and I get how that is going to make an impact. But what Biden has done here, what he has baked in to really see progress, and this is what you guys have to deliver on for new Republican voters particularly, what else is it other than energy that's going to debake what Biden has baked into everything in a grocery store?
Well, energy helps a lot because it's obviously one of the big drivers of the increased price, inflation. Right. The other thing is deregulation. I mean, the cost of doing business has gone up so much under Biden. Everywhere I went on the campaign trail, small businesses, farmers, small businesses, manufacturers, big businesses, hair salons, regulation adds cost. So if you can do two things right away, reduce the regulatory burden and increase energy production, that's going to go a long way to reducing prices for consumers. You add on to that new job creation, that's a big deal. And then finally, and this will be something I'll deal with right out of the gate, is we got to extend the Trump tax cuts from 2017. Listen, these families, working families, have gotten battered by the cost of inflation. If you raise taxes, which is what not extending the Trump tax cuts will do, a family making $50,000 a year have their taxes go up by $2,500. That's a real burden. That's $200 a month. So those are the things that I'll focus on day one. But in the end, we got to bring great jobs back to Pennsylvania. We got to make a vibrant economy. If a Martian landed on Pennsylvania and said, "What state could I be in of all the 50?" they'd pick Pennsylvania because of its natural resources, its great workforce, its proximity, its natural resources. We just haven't been taking full advantage of everything Pennsylvania has to offer, and that's what I plan to do here in the Senate.
I know that's a mantra. I know that you're on it. Senator, thank you very much. Hope we get the clear-ups soon in your voice. Thank you for soldiering through, though, with us. We appreciate it.
You got it. Great to be with you, Dom. Have a great day.
All right, Senator Dave McCormick here on Talk Radio 1210, 855-839-1210. You get a line. Coming up, one of the things President Trump really went after that's caused a stir, birthright citizenship. Now, a lot of people have talked about this over the years. No Republican, though, and the Bushes didn't care. They're fine with it. No Republican really has put it in an executive order, really started to go after, and it's causing a stir on the other side because they're afraid that birthright citizenship is not the way it's been transposed by the left. That, and hit us with that all-time address, 1600 Pennsylvania Avenue. People do anything to be president. What's an address, real or fictional? Hit us with one here on Talk Radio 1210.
Kale and Company, weekday mornings, 6 till 10.
My daughters come down, and I said, hey, girls, what do you think about doing like a family TikTok? So they open up the TikTok app on their phone, and it says, sorry, no longer in service. Americans can't use it. I go, oh, my God, they did take TikTok away. And they're like, oh, my God, we forgot. 90 minutes later, I said, girls, come down here. I said, open up your TikTok app. It started working. It was like Christmas morning all over.
Oh, for God's sake.
I said, you can thank Mr. Trump for that.
Awesome job.
And then I dunked on my mother-in-law on FaceTime. I said, how about that's how you get things done?
Start your day with Kale and Company, weekday mornings 6 till 10 on Talk Radio 1210, WPHT, and the free Odyssey app.
We all hear the radio ads about the IRS. They tell you to be afraid, to be scared, and they try to frighten you into calling. I'm not here to do that. Tax Relief Advocates is different. TRA is here to tell you that if you owe money to the IRS, whether it's $5,000, $50,000, or $500,000, we have a solution. It doesn't matter if you're sitting in your car, at work, or with your kids. No matter where you are, call now. 800-575-6481. Don't lose hope. TRA can eliminate or reduce what you owe to the IRS.
Generous programs are now available that can give you a fresh start.
Our passion is taxes and helping individuals fix their IRS problems.
We have over 1,000 5-star reviews on Google and an A+ with the Better Business Bureau.
You don't need to be afraid of the IRS any longer. End your tax nightmare today by visiting us online at TRA.com
or call 800-575-6481. That's 800-575-6481.
Tax Relief Advocates. Real solutions for real people.
Attention Medicaid patients.
If you're on Medicaid, how would you like if your caretaker was your daughter, your son, your grandchild, or your close friend? If you're on Medicaid, Freedom Care allows you to choose who provides your care, and that caregiver will get paid instantly after their shift. Yes, your caregiver will get paid instantly, and it's 100% free to you if you are on Medicaid. Call 267-692-3782 and ask Freedom Care how to get started with care today. No more worrying about getting care from an aide at an agency. Freedom Care helps you choose who you want to take care of you, and that person gets paid. Call Freedom Care at 267-692-3782, 267-692-3782 to get started today. You get a caregiver you know and trust, and they get paid instantly after their shift, and it's free to you. Start now by calling 267-692-3782, 267-692-3782, or go to freedomcare.com.
Freedom Care, we're here for you.
When you need to know, depend on KYW News Radio 103.9 FM.
Philadelphia has issued a code blue until further notice. Today's the coldest day in our region in over 2 years. Legendary Philly jazz DJ Bob Perkins has died at the age of 91. And Eagles tickets are now on sale for Sunday's conference championship game against Washington.
Get the latest anytime on KYW News Radio. Now on Crystal Clear 103.9 FM.
You've never needed us more.
Did you know this is the busiest season for plumbers? All the parties, tons of people eating at one house. That's when garbage disposals get treated like wood choppers and pipes get backed up like the airport at Thanksgiving. Blah. But don't worry. Horizon Services has the experts in same-day service to handle it all. Clogs, leaks, busted pipes. And right now you'll get $50 off any plumbing repair. Horizon will also give you up to $400 off any water heater installation. I mean, if you like hot showers. Book today at horizonservices.com.
At PGW, safety is essential to delivering clean, reliable natural gas to Philadelphia homes and businesses. If you smell gas, call PGW at 215-235-1212.
With so much uncertainty in the world today, you may find yourself wondering, is now even the right time to retire?
And so many people are waiting, and those folks are going to be waiting a really long time, I hate to say, because there's no perfect time. The market is always unpredictable and volatile.
Fortunately, Jim Cipriotti has been helping get people to, through, and beyond retirement for over 25 years. Each week, he wants to help give you that freedom to retire. Listen to Freedom to Retire with Jim Cipriotti, Saturday mornings at 9 and Sunday afternoons at 5 on Talk Radio 1210 WPHT.
Trust and Will knows that we'll all eventually need a will. How about right now? Trust and Will makes creating your will easy, like while you're lounging on the couch easy. Trust and Will is designed by attorneys but customized by you, and all documents are state-specific and secure. Find your plan at trustandwill.com and use offer code RADIO now for 10% off. That's trustandwill.com, offer code RADIO. Trust and Will is an online estate planning service. Visit trustandwill.com for details.
Hey everyone, it's Ted from Consumer Cellular, the guy in the orange sweater, and this is your wake-up call. If you're paying too much for wireless service, you don't have to keep having that nightmare. Consumer Cellular has the same fast, reliable coverage as the leading carriers for less. And for a limited time, new customers receive their second month free when they sign up and use promo code SECONDFREE by January 26th. So why keep spending more than you have to? Seriously, wake up and call 1-888-FREEDOM or visit consumercellular.com.
Taxes, fees, and other third-party charges will apply. See website for additional details.
Free speech lives here. With Don Stensland, 10 till noon. On Odyssey's #1 talk station, 1210 WPHT.
All right, Tom Giordano Show. Welcome in. So, obviously, you heard Dave McCormick's voice. It's occupational hazard. You know, he's talking to so many people, crowded spaces, yelling every moment in his speech, God knows what.
Pretty bad.
So Mary on YouTube.
No, just she called in for this, Dom.
Oh, she called in for it. Okay.
Yeah.
So Mary, the couple things. One, the first line of defense, if you really get into that, and he can't do that at this point, but once he's off the clock today, just don't talk at all. To your family, whatever. You just have to do hand signals or whatever. The more you shut down your voice, the quicker it will come back. Two.
Yeah, Mary was so sweet.
Yeah.
And she said her husband just says had a sore throat and can't talk for days now and caught the tail end of it. So
okay.
All right.
The other thing, you feel something coming on. The two-pronged solution, warm salt water, gargle it, go back as far as you can in your throat. Do that 3 or 4 times a day. Then, of course, tea, your tea of choice, and honey, a good honey to soothe it. That helps. And then ultimately, if you have to talk, now this is not for everyone because some people don't have to talk in their job that much. McCormick does, I do. Then that's where the pineapple juice, we told Jim Jordan, should have been speaker in my mind when he was right there at the center of it. We have a big picture of a giant thing of pineapple juice and a straw, and I think they watered it down. Water it down. You can't drink a lot of pineapple juice.
Heartburn.
Yeah, or your tongue will have little ulceration going on there. Yeah, it'll burn you. It's too harsh, but water it down, swill it around a little bit. And when I first started talk radio, it worked. People told me that. I tried it. It cuts through the phlegm. It actually opens it up a bit, and that's my diagnosis. Is that's what McCormick has. You can be in perfect health. Your throat's not really sore. It's just that you have a little bit of phlegm. It catches on the vocal cords. You're talking, even you're at events, and people keep talking at you, and it's over top of music and everything else, and you try to talk back to them. Even a whisper type of thing, like an exaggerated whisper, it puts a lot of strain on it. You do that for 3 or 4 days, and God knows a powerful senator from Pennsylvania, how many people you meet, and it's going to cause some difficulty. All right, on Twitter, several people making pretty good rebuttal. That's fine with me to what I said about J6. I hear some of the arguments, but I think we're ignoring that. Well, for example, saying it was entrapment. I think people were going to storm the castle that day. Some of these people were. True, we haven't gotten to the bottom, and this is where Kash Patel and the FBI comes in. Why were none of these informants who were not on the clock that day, and it's hard to say how many. In other words, they weren't there spying for the FBI. Why did they come there to do that? Could they be charged with something also? All right, but entrapment only goes so far. I mean, if you're attacking a cop in the middle of that, that's not going to get you off on entrapment. Entrapment might be the original act of entering. You might be able to make an argument around that. I just would like to hear somebody from the Trump team who oversaw this, how they came up with this judgment. So is the judgment in the end, look at the George Floyd summer, essentially, and here in Philadelphia, remember the woman that set fire to 2 police vehicles? She brought flame retardant gloves and all that. If Bill McSwain didn't get her and put her in jail for 7 years, she didn't serve that. She should have gotten 40.
Was she one with the bicycle?
No, this was the woman on Etsy.
Oh, that's right. Her.
That he tracked down through Etsy, yes. And even then, she didn't get that type of harsh sentence. So is the argument, well, look at the potential unfairness out there, just forgive everybody. I'm not on that side of it. I'm not condemning it if you are on that side of it. I'm on the side that says there's 1,000 people or more who were overcharged, overpunished, shouldn't have gotten anything. Specifically, aside from the grand scheme of things, of how nobody gets charged with anything. And I would stake that case by case. That's the truth. But there were people who were involved in trying to organize this. And that's some of the cases where, well, I think 6 were commuted. Realize that kind of looks at my point that the Trump people did not pardon everybody. 6, and I'm waiting to see who those 6 are, were only commuted. Not sure why. So 855-839-1210, you'll get on board. AT&T and Verizon Wireless, all you have to do is just push pound 1210. Jim Worthington, our host yesterday, will be with us a little bit later on. He was one of the 600 people or so in the Capitol Rotunda, and he had dinner with RFK Jr. on Saturday night. We'll give you a little bit of that conversation. The Enquirer's got a piece up today that right here in Pennsylvania, they're supportive of RFK Jr., at least some people, of a couple of chemicals that in Pennsylvania, Democrats and Republicans together want these taken out. It wouldn't be until 2027. I think that's too long of a period of time. Should be by the end of this year. But I'll give you the details on that. And for my money, JFK Jr. is going to be the guy. I'm convinced he's going to make it. He's going to be confirmed. And if he sticks to things like this, he's going to have an impact as broad as any cabinet member we've ever seen. That's how big of a revolution this guy will be able to do. Can he do that? You know, the confirmation hearing is going to be rough. They'll go back over some previous statements, etc. But the pivot on what's in food, particularly with kids and particularly suburbanites, this is a whole new crop of people to check the box to say, this is the Trump administration. Look at what they're doing for you. Parents need help because of all these elements out there. We're taking them out. All right, 855-839-1210. Jump on board. Coming to your calls next on Talk Radio 1210.
This is Larry Steinhaus with Investor Schooling. Are you ready for retirement? Have you prepared everything you need? Well, in Investor Schooling, we will teach you ways to better prepare for your retirement using real estate and the stock market. But you need to learn how to do it right, and that's what we teach. At Investor Schooling, we sell nothing but education. Come to Investor Schooling and learn how to have a better retirement. Go to investorschooling.com and RSVP right now for this Thursday's class at 7 o'clock. Go to investorschooling.com. That's investorschooling.com. This is Larry Sinus with Investor Schooling. Are you tired of hearing about the recession that's coming? Are you prepared for it? Well, listen, at investorschooling.com, we're going to teach you ways to prepare for the recession that you didn't even know existed. We're going to teach you strategies on how to use real estate. We're going to teach you strategies how to use the stock market properly. That's right, you can even make money in the stock market when the stock market goes down. Hey, go to investorschooling.com and register for a free class this Thursday night, and you will learn all of these techniques. Go to investorschooling.com right now, RSVP for this Thursday. We'll see you there.
When you're still looking for love, Valentine's Day sucks. Every restaurant is fully booked. Suddenly all chocolates are heart-shaped, and all the PDA. Thankfully, California Psychics can give you the guidance you need to find the one. We guarantee if your reading isn't life-changing, it's free. And new customers receive 20 minutes for just $20. Visit CaliforniaPsychics.com and experience the joy of certainty. California Psychics.
Are you prepared for an emergency or disaster? Because it's not a matter of if, but when. Don't find yourself saying,
I'll trust water bottles and a flashlight to save the day, but I'll be proved wrong.
With a tornado approaching, I'll realize that I lack a wheelchair-accessible shelter.
When the floodwaters rise, I'll be up in the attic with 20 cans of beans. It's a recipe for disaster.
let's prepare so we all have a better story to tell. Get started at ready.gov/older adults. Brought to you by FEMA and the Ad Council.
We all hear the radio ads about the IRS. They tell you to be afraid, to be scared, and they try to frighten you into calling. I'm not here to do that. Tax Relief Advocates is different. TRA is here to tell you that if you owe money to the IRS, whether it's $5,000, $50,000, or $500,000, we have a solution. It doesn't matter if you're sitting in your car, at work, or with your kids. No matter where you are, call now. 800-575-6986. Don't lose hope. TRA can eliminate or reduce what you owe to the IRS.
Generous programs are now available that can give you a fresh start.
Our passion is taxes and helping individuals fix their IRS problems.
We have over 1,000 five-star reviews on Google and an A+ with the Better Business Bureau.
You don't need to be afraid of the IRS any longer. End your tax nightmare today by visiting us online at TRA.com
or call 800-575-6986. That's 800-575-6986.
Tax Relief Advocates. Real solutions for real people.
Philadelphia's Talk Radio 1210 WPHT, WPHT HD, WOGL HD3, Philadelphia. From the Piazza Auto Group Studios, experience the power of one with 8 brands and 25 locations. Always live on the free Odyssey app. It's Dom time. Now, Dom Giordano.
It is Dom time. Welcome in. Good to be back on home turf with you. The salmon shirt, I just have to cut off the sales tag. Not a scissor in the house, or scissors. When I find one, I'll be ready to...
oh, that's really what's preventing you is the scissors to cut off the tag?
That's it,
oh.
Yes. Yeah. And we'll be ready to go. Those women on that ranch in Oregon need us. Couldn't do it yesterday because it was a more appropriate day connected to President Trump and all that was celebrated. If you missed it out at the NAC, you got to come out the next time we have something going on. Plan for it. Okay, 855-839-1210. I just mentioned JFK. Inquirer even has a piece today. The FDA does not ban potassium bromate or brominated vegetable oil, but Pennsylvania House Bill 2117 proposes to, and that's a good thing. And they talk about RFK Jr. and how what we're going to see is a surge, maybe even of states, of being on top of this and moving to take a look at this. And obviously, big food, big agriculture, a lot of Republicans represent this. They're not going to like it. But this one in Pennsylvania has a Democrat, Republican, a number of people involved, all to try to ban it by state law here in Pennsylvania. And they're hoping that the surge of Robert Kennedy Jr. being in there will make an impact toward doing that. And if Kennedy gets in this lane and stays and owns this lane, this is going to be dramatic stuff. I mean, the Biden administration, I think it was the last day or near the last days, banned some red dye 3 suddenly. But the thing I wanted to have some fun with today, too, and go back to this, and I am going to be almost impossible for a lot of reasons to move off this, is the previous Surgeon General in the last days telling us that somehow or another, a moderate amount of drinking, and I mean very moderate, however you want to define that, is one of the leading causes, not of alcoholism, cirrhosis, but of cancer. Remember that? Over the holidays, we were going back and forth with this guy. So the LA Times puts out a piece that says, oh, maybe you should not be drinking that sacramental wine. Now just think about how far we go with this stuff. That the wine you would drink in a religious ceremony. Now, I just wanted to ask, are you engaged? I mean, a lot of this stuff has been stopped because of COVID, cold and flu season. I can remember being in church at times when people would drink the sacred wine, the holy wine, the blessed wine. But I have not seen that. And I'm wondering, and it seemed to be the people they interviewed, they were Jewish. I think there were some rabbis interviewed. And essentially they're saying to them, well, wait a minute. How are you guys having sacramental wine when the Surgeon General just said this is the cause of cancer? This is how far this stuff goes. Now, Kennedy's approach, to his credit, is not lecturing people and saying, do what I do, as much as he's in your corner. There are entities out there that are powerful, that have been able to control this, that are cutting corners. And it's arguable. It's kind of like TikTok. It's addictive. If you eat this type of food as a kid, then the taste that is there, that's what you want. And it's going to be very hard to shake you from that, even though long-term it's injurious. So Kennedy Jr. is on the map with this stuff. What I don't want to see is stuff like the Surgeon General, though, wanting to greatly curtail alcohol in the manner that he was talking about as a cause of cancer, and then this sacramental wine thing. So are you in a religion in which there is wine that's drunk as part of the ritual, the ceremony, that kind of thing? I don't know even how much it goes on that they're going down that path, but that's where we're headed. All right, 855-839-1210. That's how you get in. AT&T and Verizon Wireless. All we need you to do is just push pound 1210, and we'll get you on board a little bit later. I saw this story yesterday. I was saving it because yesterday we were consumed with the first day. That Instacart. I'm not a fan of ordering and having somebody pick out my stuff at the foods. First of all, I don't think it saves you time because, you're going through all this. And what are the odds that it's ever right? But the people complaining about Instacart are saying they don't want males shopping for them. One woman wrote, I think this one was on Reddit,
reason on that. I mean,
that she ordered tampons and he gave her Q-tips.
Oh.
So I've seen this at the Giant where we shop, and they just can't. You can't have somebody do something for you that's going to match what you would think of in the instant or what you really mean. I don't care how much you spell it out.
Are men better shoppers than women, or are women better shoppers than men at the grocery store?
Well, I think
Maisie's much better than me. I got to admit.
Yeah, I think women are better, but
I'm seeing ghosts every time I'm at the grocery store. Like I
don't know why, but the ones I see are guys. I'm not sure how they had that role. And the tampon for Q-tips. There were a whole bunch of them. We'll give you those coming up.
So you've never done Instacart, or?
No, I wouldn't do that stuff. It's too much time consuming and thought, and then it's going to be screwed up. It's like shopping online to me is always you're rolling the dice. I know it says convenience.
My favorite is we'll order like a pound of chicken breast, right?
Right.
And it'll be like whatever the price is, and then they'll come back with organic chicken breast, and they charge just double all of a sudden, and. Yeah.
And then scrutinizing this, trying to make sure you're on top of it. The odds of that versus just, I get it, COVID, started some of this stuff. If you
It's
live,
easy though. Like I just went and picked up groceries the other day. It's not that we're getting them delivered to our house, but we'll do the grocery pickup.
how long does it take you to walk around a supermarket?
Like an hour and a half. You're saving some
that's
time there. It
ridiculous.
takes me 5 to 10 minutes to pull up.
Mine's under 22 minutes every time.
No, it's not.
Yeah,
Sure
it is.
We're taking a camera and we're timing
Okay,
you, Tom.
well, that's without Roe. If Roe's involved, then it's that adds at least 25 minutes.
Oh, why is
Doubles.
that?
Yeah. Because she dawdles, because that's what you're going to
Do
get.
you categorize your, list and by department, and you're just like,
No,
boom,
I walk
boom,
up
boom,
and
boom?
down the aisles. Don't even have to think about it. I know what I'm getting.
So you'll backtrack on an aisle?
No, I don't
Oh,
have to.
wow.
I know exactly what I'm getting, where I'm going at every moment.
What happens if you forget something, though? Do you refuse to backtrack?
That's right. Yes, I'm getting out of there.
I'll get it next week.
I'll get it next week. I was
Screw
just
your
saying
mayonnaise.
that took care of that type of thing. But having some guy pushing a cart around determine is the avocado ripe or not for you, that's an art where you got to make a judgment on it. You can't have this guy. And putting down tampons for this guy, I can't even imagine the specifications.
There's too many options out there and a lot
Right.
of foods and
Can you
products
imagine?
to leave up to a stranger who doesn't know you at all.
Henry, if you were sent on a mission to buy feminine hygiene products, and you got to the store and they were out of said feminine hygiene products,
Would you get Q-tips? Yes.
Don't think I'd get Q-tips, no.
At least it wasn't avocados. I mean, I'm reading
Grab
right.
the gauze.
I'm reading right from what the guy did here. I could say, hey, talk to the guy. Hey, we're out of them. Okay, let's get the Q-tip.
It's all cotton, right?
Yeah, it's all cotton. Get some cotton product. And the guy is Q-tip. Throw it in there. What the heck? I filled the order. If they don't like it, they don't like it. So if you shop that way, I'd love to know, are you nuts? Just call and tell us you're not. And that this is highly easy. Now, if you're infirm, disabled, can't get to the store and that, it's a blessing. I get all that.
But if you're a 30-something-year-old producer?
Yes, right. And on a weekly basis.
With capableness?
Yeah. It's such an easier taken away decision-making stuff to me. Just go to the store. All right, let's go to Minnie of YouTube. Where else? And Texas, here on Talk Radio.
Minnie gets her
1210.
groceries delivered. There's no doubt in my mind.
That's not true. Hey, Minnie, welcome in. Happy New Year to you.
Happy New Year. Howdy. I called to originally tell y'all that it's snowing here, and it hasn't snowed here in 4 years.
Where are you in Texas
Where?
again?
Yeah, San Antonio?
I am in southeast Texas. I'm between Houston and Galveston.
Oh, okay.
So that's a big deal for us. I know for y'all, that's, who cares? But
Wait a minute. In
like,
Texas, it's mandatory to say y'all. Is that a southern state?
Yeah, we always say y'all.
Okay, well, see, because I'm developing, one of my things is that our governor, Josh
It's better
Shapiro,
than use guys.
who's a guy from Abington, thinks he can say y'all. Based on what? How does Josh
No.
Shapiro think he could do that? He can't.
Minnie is the arbiter of y'alls.
No, I agree with you,
That's
Minnie.
right.
I can't say it. I'm from South Philly. It'd be you guys.
Well, you can say it because I've made you an honorary Texan, so you can say it, but not Josh Shapiro.
Oh,
no.
does that mean I can wear my cowboy boots again? I'll tell Ro when I go home
Yes.
today. Yes.
Oh, wow.
Okay.
You
there we go.
you and Rich Zioli are honorary Texans. Maybe Matt DeSantis and Dan and Henry too, but y'all for sure. You and Rich. can
Well,
say
there's
y'all
been a
all
lot
you
of
want.
talk, Minnie, as you know, about Henry getting into the, embroidered shirt and bolo tie kind of fashion.
Oh, my
Do you
God.
support that?
Oh my God. Well, I don't even know what to say on that. I haven't seen anybody around here wearing a bolo tie, but you do regularly see people in cowboy hats. That's not
exactly. Well,
that's
Minnie,
a fashion. But
go ahead,
but
Minnie.
when you were talking about Instacart, I have shopped for people. I've shopped through Favor, which Favor is through HEB, which HEB is just a Texas store, and I've also shopped through DoorDash, and I don't think it's that bad of a way to get things for people. I mean, the Q-tips, that's inexcusable. But usually you're communicating with your shopper throughout the shop, So if
They
they
are?
don't have
Wait
something,
a minute. They're on the phone with you?
Oh, yeah. Well, no,
you text. You text them back and forth through the app. They don't know your number. You don't know theirs. It's a spoof number. But my point is, like, I don't know, like when I've shopped for dog food for somebody and they give me something really broad, and then I get to the aisle and I'm like, oh no, there's like 7 types of this one brand of food. And I'll ask them, and then if they're not answering, I'll also take pictures, okay? And then if they're still not answering, because I give them a while, I'll look in the app and I'll act like as if I'm ordering it. And if I'm ordering it, what's the first thing that comes up? And that's usually what they want. But I do, I ask them for confirmation. And then when they finally get back, they'll be, okay, that's okay. Or no, I want you to get this other thing instead.
But Minnie, think of what you just described. And think of my personality. Oh, my goodness. I'm just thinking here, anything. Just get cat food if you want. Just stop it.
Well, that's you. It's been, I had one gentleman that liked me so much that I started shopping for him, without being on the app. I just was his personal shopper. That was during the COVID time. So he had me about maybe 2 or 3 years. I was shopping for him, and he'd tip me 20% of whatever the order was, and he would have me
look, I
shop
could
for
see
his daughter.
with your personality, we could see that. But you got to see these guys that I see in Giant. They're not mini with these guys. They're the guys saying, "Get me some cotton in that aisle. Bring it over here."
I can see your point of view. And then on next door, somebody was complaining, not about us, but they were complaining about the personal shoppers for the store, because like H-E-B does that,
right?
And Kroger and Walmart, and they were complaining, oh, their cart is in the middle of the aisle. And then it took all my self-restraint, because I don't know if they were doing talk to text, but they were spelling aisle like an island, I-S-L-E.
There you go, right there. I'm taking points off.
A-I-S-L-E.
Yes. Minnie, thank you as always. Thank you, Minnie. Thanks for making us an honorary texting too. Thank you, Minnie. Oh, God. Just think of this, texting back and forth versus just going there, getting the stuff and bringing it home. My goodness. Come on.
So Minnie lives very much in the YouTube chat, youtube.com/WPHT. I just pulled it up, and they're asking her to clarify whether or not she's a Cowboys fan. So if you're still listening, Minnie, please put in there.
No, don't answer that. They'll be on you forever. Okay. All right, 855-839-1210. We have to think up a side question tomorrow for Josh Harris, what it's going to be like when he comes to town. Here's a guy who schemed along with his other billionaires just to diss these fools, including the mayor in this one, and get what they wanted in the end and cause all this trouble. Then he's the Sixers owner. Then he's the Washington Redskins / whatever they are now owner. And then he's the Jersey Devils owner. This guy better be in a protected area when we see him on Sunday.
They need bulletproof glass.
Yeah, this is this is not a. And with the Sixers, he's not a horrible owner. He pays enough. He just doesn't care. He's not engaged. I mean, there's that. But you don't have to be an owner, apparently.
I could take up the rest of this hour talking about my Josh Harris complaints, but I'll leave it as there could be a better owner of the Sixers.
Oh, sure. All right, so it's 855-839-1210. Do you InstaShop or Instacart? And I'll read you a few more of these. They're pretty amazing, and I've seen this up close. Look, if it's your thing and you think it's more convenient, go right ahead. I just think.
What do you mean if you think it's more? It's 100% more convenient.
No, it is not more convenient. It takes more time and more thought than just going and doing it yourself.
What the caveat is that I think would take some more time is if you have to walk the shopper through everything that you want.
Of course.
Yeah, that's the time-consuming part. Because it's like, well, I might as well be shopping at this point if, I have to help you try and find things in the aisle.
I should offer full transparency, too. In my relationship, Maisie's the one that sits there for an hour scrolling through the Acme app and putting together the entire cart.
Right, exactly.
All I do is I just pull up into the spot, give them my number, and they run their groceries out. So
you're still going there, too. So it's not that you're still driving there
I'm still going there, yeah.
All right,
me personally,
there you go. Yeah. All right, 855-839-1210. You get on board. Hey, a question for all empty nesters or soon-to-be empty nesters out there. Are you wondering if this is your year to downsize? Or maybe you want to know the latest trends in the real estate market, how that will impact your home and how you can sell it. Or maybe you want to know how the new administration's policies will affect the value of your home with the decrease in regulations and cutting of taxes. Well, there's a lot to be thinking about. And that's where my great friend Diane Giordano from Giordano Realtors comes in. Diane will answer all your questions and more, whatever your particular question is, at our next breakfast event for future home sellers anytime in the future, Saturday morning, February 1st, at the Hilton Garden Inn in Fort Washington. Diane unlocks the secrets to outshine the competition, boost your bottom line, take control of your equity, and sell fast, smarter, and for more. I'll be there that morning around 8:15 or so. It's a great breakfast that they lay out. Great conversation. And then, of course, all your questions, and more than that, your plan to really get that home sold effectively. Diane will be signing copies of her new book, Model Home Mindset. It's all free. Just call them now, 215-576-8666, or visit 215-576-8666.com.
Kale and Company, weekday mornings, 6 till 10.
My daughters come down, and I said, hey, girls, what do you think about doing like a family TikTok? So they open up the TikTok app on their phone, and it says, sorry, no longer in service. Americans can't use it. I go, oh, my God, they did take TikTok away. And they're like, oh, my God, we forgot. 90 minutes later, I said, girls, come down here. I said, open up your TikTok app. It started working. It was like Christmas morning all over.
Oh, for God's sake.
I said, you can thank Mr. Trump for that.
Awesome job.
And then I dunked on my mother-in-law on FaceTime. I said, how about that's how you get things done?
Start your day with Kale and Company, weekday mornings, 6 till 10 on Talk Radio 1210, WPHT, and the free Odyssey app.
As a business owner, you wear a lot of hats. One minute you're ordering today's inventory, and the next you're planning tomorrow's expansion. It's complicated, but your business credit card should be simple. With the Signify Business Cash Card by Wells Fargo, you earn unlimited 2% cash rewards on purchases for your business, with no caps or categories to track. Signify Business Cash, the deliberately simple business credit card. Learn more at wellsfargo.com/signify. Terms apply.
The new 2025 Harley-Davidsons have arrived at Barb's Harley-Davidson. Barb's is Philly's closest and New Jersey's #1 dealer, and they want to be your Harley-Davidson dealer too. Be there Saturday for the new model reveal party, only at Barb's. Check us out at barbshd.com.
This is Dr. Marianne Ritchie. Tune in to Your Radio Doctor every Saturday afternoon at 5 here on Talk Radio 1210 WPHT for the latest healthcare news and information, because your health is your wealth. That's Your Radio Doctor, Saturdays at 5.
It's the grand opening of King Shooter Supply in King of Prussia, Sunday, February 2nd from noon till 6. With deals and specials you won't want to miss. The gun store and shooting range is complete with an additional 7 more indoor lanes, 14 total, a huge parking lot rear entrance, and the same great staff inside. King Shooters welcomes beginners into their family of competitive shooters, recreational shooters, law enforcement professionals, and hunters, helping you find the right firearm, ammunition, and accessories. 346 East Church Road in King of Prussia. On Facebook and at kingshooters.com.
Start the new year by making a statement in your home with beautiful, high-quality furniture from Bucks County Estate Traders. Browse over 16,000 pieces, all high-quality, famous brands, meticulously cared for and curated by our experts. Many pieces are even reupholstered by their talented team of craftsmen. You can furnish every room in your home with one trip to Bucks County Estate Traders. Their team of knowledgeable professionals provides a relaxed and rewarding experience. Visit buckscountyestatetraders.com or their showroom in Hatfield.
Attention Medicaid patients.
If you're on Medicaid, how would you like if your caretaker was your daughter, your son, your grandchild, or your close friend? If you're on Medicaid, Freedom Care allows you to choose who provides your care, and that caregiver will get paid instantly after their shift. Yes, your caregiver will get paid instantly, and it's 100% free to you if you are on Medicaid. Call 267-692-3782 and ask Freedom Care how to get started with care today. No more worrying about getting care from an aide at an agency. Freedom Care helps you choose who you want to take care of you, and that person gets paid. Call Freedom Care at 267-692-3782, 267-692-3782 to get started today. You get a caregiver you know and trust, and they get paid instantly after their shift, and it's free to you. Start now by calling 267-692-3782, 267-692-3782, or go to freedomcare.com.
Freedom Care, we're here for you.
Have you subscribed to our YouTube channel yet? Not yet. Do it today. Okay. At 1210 WPHT. WPHT.
All right, Tom Giordano show. Jonathan Turley was on Fox today. I think it was Fox and Friends, making, look, this guy is as good as Andy McCarthy, both of them, that he believes the Department of Justice really made the case for those pardons. It was hard to do because most of us supported the people responsible for the riot being held accountable. It was a terrible day, but the Justice Department unleashed what one of its top lawyers called a shock and awe campaign, and they just scooped up hundreds of people. I'm in agreement with him on that. There's no doubt about that. They often demanded really excessive sentences, Charlie says. Most of these people were charged with just trespass, unlawful entry. Most of them were not violent. The government tended to oppose bail. They kept a number of them for a long time in segregation. Some of them, in some cases, they demanded limitations of what people could say or read or associate with after they were released. All of this tended to undermine their case. And so when the president campaigned on this issue, Charlie says, I think a lot of people wanted to see this chapter close, and he certainly did that. This was broader than most people expected or even asked for. Well, I've had a number of people on Twitter, and they haven't been really pushing back hard on me, just making their case. I thought this was unexpected how far he went with this. But Charlie makes the case on a great number of people here, maybe 95% or 98%. Where there are people, though, that deserve pretty severe sentencing, I'd say yes. Do you just throw that aside because of all the factors he listed and some of the ones I listed? For me, I'll admit it. It's very hard, and think in your heart of hearts, it's very hard when it's law enforcement under attack, in some cases, relatively limited in the grand scheme of things, to say to those people, well, there was provocation, unnecessarily harsh punishment, etc. Okay, did they examine it in that manner? I could live with that. But in all these cases, it just goes against the grain. I'll admit it. I think for anybody who really supports law enforcement, it's hard to throw aside just this untrammeled pardon. So there are 6 commutations. I'll look at them. But I'd love to hear from you. So is this a 10? Charlie making the case, this was more than I expected. Vance seemed to indicate it. No, they were going to hold some people they thought were accountable. And in the end, I don't think they did. The other narrative, you're going to hear Democrats. And that's why we talked to Dave McCormick today, made the point about job one for Trump is inflation. The border, he knows what to do. He's already started to do it. But the issue of inflation, seeing those grocery prices come down, energy driven, getting rid of regulations, new business model, continuing the tax cuts is necessary. And all Democrats have is to say, why are we talking about the Gulf of Mexico versus the Gulf of America? Now, yesterday, Ron DeSantis' office, there was some weather situation or whatever. And instead of calling it the Gulf of Mexico, they called it the Gulf of America. I'll tell you why it's important. Of course, we're trying to debake what Biden did. But along the way, we can walk and chew gum at the same time. There's no reason to call it the Gulf of Mexico. There's every reason to call it the Gulf of America. What's the big deal about arguing against that? Well, they're trying to tell us that their focus, particularly the first openly transgendered congressperson from Delaware, she's the only one focused, or he, on lowering prices, kitchen table talk. Well, then you'd have to leave your party. Your party, your group, she's a progressive. You did it. You broke this. So why are you lecturing us about fixing it? Of course, we're trying to fix it. You did it. It's your policies. You're not out there helping working people because your policies are what causes this type of thing. Republican policies do not cause inflation. Progressive policies do. And Biden broke the bank with it. But this is what they've settled on. They're going to continue to go down this path. All right, so 855-839-1210. What I'm happy about, even on Twitter, is that people are making reasonable arguments about why they think forgiving all of these people, essentially commuting pardoning, makes sense. I just think there are some, and again, it's the law enforcement aspect. I'm just trying to be consistent with that because when the George Floyd summer happened, of course, law enforcement under attack. There are any number of people we saw, and that woman that blew up 2 police cars, I would have put her in jail for 30 years. She could have killed, maimed, attacked anybody in that instance. People like that, that's a possible life sentence, what she planned to do and what she did. And the blowing up of ATM machines, just the wanton violence. Of course, they all deserve that. Does that mean, though, that some people, January 6 oriented, do not? All right, let's go to Gary in Newtown. Gary on Talk Radio 1210. Hey, Gary, welcome in. And Roe spoke very highly of a long conversation with you yesterday.
It was very, very nice to sit with her and keep her company. We had a wonderful, wonderful conversation. What a beautiful lady.
Well, thank you, Gary.
You're welcome. And it was, and to end the day, my wife said, "Where's the mask?" And I said, "It's gone."
Wait a minute. I got to commend you. Less is more. Yesterday, you did your bit, dropped the mask, and we're off stage. I thought there was going to be like a longer thing. That was perfect. You made the point.
No. It was. Yeah. I couldn't wait. I couldn't wait to get it off my face and throw it on the ground.
All right. Well, what's going to be new for the summer? We need another mask now.
I have some. I'm working on some stuff. I'll be like Earl from Taconia. I'm working on some.
Okay. All right. All right.
So, as a J6er, I think I told you the story before. We left before it got crazy. We knew who the people were. In hindsight, we knew who the bad actors were on our way out. Trump was still speaking when we were walking to our hotel. But as a law enforcement guy, if you did anything, I don't care if it's against a policeman, if you struck someone, if we have a law, then that law applies to you. Whether you're a white, black, red, Hispanic, it doesn't make a difference. That's why the Lady of Justice is blindfolded. It doesn't make a difference what you look like, where you're from. A law is a law is a law. It's all about fairness.
Well, look, I agree with you, but even I, Gary, would put into context the fact that they were overcharged. They were Turley made the point, they were put into segregation. They went through hell. But there are some people, to your point, that definitively we could pick out and they deserve it. I think we would have, the Trump people could have done that. So those are the people, maybe those are the people he only commuted. I'm not sure yet.
I don't know, and I'm not a big fan of taking our money. I'm a 50-year-old guy who has paid his taxes ever since he's had a job. I'm not a big fan of giving people more money. But if you or I or anybody in our listening audience was wrongly incarcerated, we should be able to hire an attorney and sue the federal government and win.
Absolutely. That would be the recourse in this. And they went out of their way with some people to punish them, to break them, because they couldn't get at Trump. That doesn't excuse, though, the others that I'm talking about. So, Gary, what's your?
I want to see the people that the guy who's on the megaphone on top of the scaffold that they can't find. They could find me and my brother-in-law, and we weren't even there, but they could find us, right? I mean, find that guy and prosecute him. Find the FBI guys that were there and prosecute them. They're the instigators. Some of them.
And if Patel becomes the head of the FBI, that's got to be job number one. That's exactly right. The FBI would have records on this. What's your address, Gary?
You want to mute court. What is the reason why we can't go back to the girl who and anybody else that we know via video that did something during the summer of love and put them in jail for burglary, arson, grand theft, whatever?
Yeah,
why can't we do that?
We could, except statute of limitations maybe on some of those getting pretty close. But to your point, yes, we could.
Okay.
Yeah.
So in the spirit of all things incompetent in the state of California, my address is the 23,000 block of Malibu Colony Road, which is the house of Charlie and his 2.5 men.
That's very
which
good.
Is no longer there.
Okay. Thank you, Gary, very much. All right. 855-839-1210. That will get you a line. AT&T and Verizon Wireless. All you have to do is push pound 1210. By the way, column in the New York Post today, one of the greatest things Trump does, with Donald Trump back in the White House, we finally have a president who backs up his promises. He makes a promise. Well, he plays with it to see where people are. He makes the promise then, And he then lets you know, check that box. He did it. Here's Donnie Deutsch on Morning Joe today, making the point that the other side's got to realize about Trump, that Trump is looking at things that people want, and he's going to do it. Cut 14.
This George Will column gets to a point the Democrats need to understand that for half of America, this embodies popular culture, and he embodies what they want out of a president, far different than what the other half of America has ever wanted from a president.
Democrats, instead of at this point, if the Democrats brought me in, instead of saying what Donald Trump is doing wrong and all the things wrong, start to look at what he's doing right from a winning point of view. From a winning point of view, once again, he is giving the people what they want. We can wring our hands. He's putting on a show.
Half of them, yeah.
Half, at least a little over half, or at least certainly half. He's putting on a show, and he's very good at it. And, it was interesting. The Democrats talked about the joy of, running with it. They're walking around. Their chests are out. They're feeling like winners. And the Democrats feel like whiners and nerds. And that's got to change. That's got to go upside down.
Well, here's the problem, Donnie, and this is the big advertising guy who usually just attacks Trump. It's the policies that are about whining, complaining, not live and let live. The progressive policies are built on that, canceling people. So it's not just the tone. That's what the policies build on. These are, by and large, these are freedom extension policies that Trump is talking about. They're popular. No tax on tips. Who in the world is going to make an argument on the other side of that? It gets into some kind of, well, I don't think it's fair because I'm not getting it. And then we look at, okay, let's not have a tax on something that you're engaged with. I look at every time there's a freedom that somebody's getting rid of taxes. I'm not talking about some kind of insider game with billionaires. I'm talking about people that are middle class and celebrate it, even if I'm not getting it. That's what we want to do. We want to free everybody from this. And that's why it's so popular. All right, phone lines, 855-839-1210, AT&T, and Verizon Wireless. All you have to do is just push pound 1210.
We all hear the radio ads about the IRS. They tell you to be afraid, to be scared, and they try to frighten you into calling. I'm not here to do that. Tax Relief Advocates is different. TRA is here to tell you that if you owe money to the IRS, whether it's $5,000, $50,000, or $500,000, we have a solution. It doesn't matter if you're sitting in your car, at work, or with your kids. No matter where you are, call now. 800-575-6481. Don't lose hope. TRA can eliminate or reduce what you owe to the IRS.
Generous programs are now available that can give you a fresh start.
Our passion is taxes and helping individuals fix their IRS problems.
We have over 1,000 5-star reviews on Google and an A+ with the Better Business Bureau.
You don't need to be afraid of the IRS any longer. End your tax nightmare today by visiting us online at TRA.com
or call 800-575-6481. That's 800-575-6481.
Tax Relief Advocates. Real solutions for real people.
In a world filled with financial information, Citizens can help you make sense of it. So whether you're listening to that new financial podcast that's hotter than your morning coffee, flipping through that financial guru's 1,000-page book on simple finances, or getting tips from a coworker that actually sound kind of interesting, you're ready to make the most of it. Make sense of your money with Citizens. Learn more at citizensbank.com/made-ready.
Just like our offensive line protects our star quarterback, plumbers protect the health of the nation. And Philadelphia Plumbers Union Local 690 is no different. In hospitals, commercial, industrial, and residential, with the best trained plumbers in the world, you can be sure your project is done on time and on budget, no matter how big or small. So when your business needs to build new or expand existing facilities, you can count on the members of Plumbers Union Local 690. Visit plumbers690.org.
Chronic pain, cancer, fatigue. Find out about the benefits of medication medical hydration therapy on Health Watch with Dr. Molly Fantasia every Sunday morning at 8 on Talk Radio 1210 WPHT.
Broadcasting live from the Piazza Premium Automobile Studios.
Powering your drive with 10 brands and 20 locations.
Talk Radio 1210 WPHT.
By the way, one of the pardons of George Biden that it was Joe Biden was not in the news that much because of all the other stuff going on is this Native American that the left, Leonard, and I believe it's pronounced Peltier, for years hearing about this guy, killed 2 FBI agents brutally. So, when you put that into context, the January 6th people, I get the broad argument. Well, where does this stop? How does this guy get to go home after doing that? He's a hero of the left. I'm looking at it, and it's the very same people that are lionizing this that are the Mumia people that helped chart his career and the stuff he does behind bars. They're all over this today. So do you say, if that's the argument in the end, well, nobody was killed there. It's for me, I'm always going to stand on that. It's the law enforcement argument that just you cannot get around with certain people in certain instances. Realize any number of people have probably served close to 3 years by this point or more. Let's go to Jay in Jackson on Talk Radio 1210. Jay, good afternoon.
How you doing, Dom? I love your show.
Thank you.
I disagree with the premise to your argument. I'm very pro-law enforcement. Law and order is the basis of society. Mm-hmm. We can't exist without it.
Right.
But we all had also a history of, let's say, East German police, Russian police. They were police officers. They came to do a job working for the government, but they were doing terrible things and destroying their citizens. You could have a situation where law enforcement is on the wrong side of the issue. This is what we have over here.
Wait a minute. How are the Capitol Police on the wrong side of the issue?
The specific police weren't, but the story, the way it happened, the way the balance of things are, that you went after these people in a way that you weren't going after other people like this, that is a wrong issue. It's not anti-law enforcement. It's a broader issue of the fact that we had a balance of power where things were shifted a certain way based on a political idea. And that's why these people suffered. So that's what the pardon is correcting.
Now, wait a minute. It sounds like we're doing the same thing that they do on the other side. They would say the people that were attacking during George Floyd's summer were justified because of the history of the country's racist, et cetera. We got to have a line where we're better than them and reject that. So anybody who knowingly is attacking law enforcement, I don't care who they are, I think they deserve whatever the fitting punishment is. Now, Jay, if your argument is, well, yeah, that's true, but the punishment some of these got, even the ones involved with the cops, was excessive, I could buy that. I just have to see it because I don't have the files. I can't tell what they would have gotten and who did what here. It's a little bit hard.
No, 100%. I believe that the argument is that they got more than they would have gotten in a different circumstance. 100%. If someone breaks the law, even if he was coming or he got excited for a certain reason, you're right. You're 100% right. But the law enforcement aspect of it, just this idea that we hear law enforcement and as conservatives we right away jump to protect, which we should because they're under attack. That's not the entirety of the argument. Of course, if they're not being punished at all, that's ridiculous. They have to be punished. You can't do that to police officers, especially with everything. They were doing what they were supposed to be doing, the officers. But it's believed, and I think that it seems so, that a lot of the punishment was excessive. So that's what we're trying to correct.
Okay, all I'm asking for is, but you and I are in sync, I think. I just believe then you got to do a little bit better job here of the specifics on this. In other words, Trump had people review this. Bill O'Reilly made this point, Jay, with me last night, the same thing. And he speaks to Trump all the time. He would advise him, you don't do it, but your people get out there and talk and say, you're hearing this criticism. Here are specific cases, and there are some that are horrific, and the ones that were involved in violence, what they would have gotten, And agree with you, the conditions they were put in prison were out of line with the offense. But I do think there were people that were masterminding this more, in addition to the federal government part. And those people, I wouldn't be pardoning them, certainly. I think they might be the 6 that were just commuted. I'm not sure.
You're right. We don't know exactly the specifics. I'm just right now I'm erring on the side of trust that he's trying to do it properly, but without being similar to them, and the fact that we just give a blanket.
Okay, we're on the same page. That's what I'm worried about. I can't condone that. There's a lot of elements to it. Look, Jay, when Kash Patel, if it is Kash Patel, gets into the FBI, that will be the opportunity for full airing of all the things that you and I are talking about here that nobody but the FBI apparently has information on.
My only issue was just when we bring up the word law enforcement, I feel like sometimes we get carried away with the fact that there are law enforcement officers. It's possible a law enforcement officer sometimes is not on the right side of something.
Oh, yeah, of course. Thank you, Jay. Yeah, so nobody's going to go after a bad cop in various instances than I am. But, bear spray on the one cop, things of that nature here. And look, if you want to make the point about Pelosi, and Trump's out there making it again, that they were offered 10,000 troops. The guy I reference, he's African-American, is the guy that was the major in charge of communications and the orders going out of the National Guard in D.C., saying, did they really think that the National Guard was going to lead an insurrection, a revolt, black men in D.C. for Donald Trump? That seemed to be the argument on the other side. We couldn't send them there. We were afraid. Literally, that's what he said. They would engage in this. No. 855-839-1210, AT&T and Verizon Wireless just push pound 1210. Dan, you have something on this woke pastor?
Yeah, do you want the audio of what
yes, tell us about it.
Yeah. So a woke pastor has now gone viral for during the prayer today, really to the faces of Trump and Vance, essentially saying that LGBTQ and illegals are frightened by them. Take a listen.
In the name of our God, I ask you to have mercy upon the people in our country who are scared now. There are gay, lesbian, and transgender children in Democratic, Republican, and independent families, some who fear for their lives. And the people who pick our crops and clean our office buildings, who labor in poultry farms and meat packing plants, who wash the dishes after we eat in restaurants and work the night shifts in hospitals, they may not be citizens or have the proper documentation.
It's kind of racist.
But the vast majority of immigrants are not criminals. They pay taxes and are good neighbors. They are faithful members of our churches and mosques, synagogues, wadara, and temples. I ask you to have mercy, Mr. President, on those in our communities whose children fear that their parents will be taken away, and that you help those who are fleeing war zones and persecution in their own lands to find compassion and welcome here. Our God teaches us that we are to be merciful to the stranger.
Okay, let's stop there. Does God teach you to stop the lies? You outright liar. This notion that somehow or another we're going after kids that are LGBTQA plus and transgender. Enough already, lady, on this. Now, it's a tough spot. I'm not good at this. Biden had to suck it up yesterday when Trump was talking about years of decline, how bad this is, which is the truth, to his face, although Biden was behind his back. Got to be difficult sitting there for a president. That is, Dan, I'm glad you got that. And the part that bothers me, the illegal immigrant thing is one thing here. They are building up in these kids, using this case, because we're saying no. There are two genders. Stop it already. Stop it with this butchery of the surgeries, etc., that are irreversible. And stop it. You're not going to play and beat up and set records in female sports. You're not. And that last part seems petty, doesn't it, in comparison to the others, but not to me. Not to anybody that puts sport on the level of where it belongs, which is one of the greatest, not just pleasures, but greatest teaching grounds that we have, female sports. Stop doing this. We're not going to let you anymore.
Also, Trump was asked about this by a reporter, if you want to hear that audio.
Yeah, sure.
Mr. President, what did you think of the sermon? What did you think of the sermon? What did you think of the sermon?
What did you think? You like it? You find it exciting? Not too exciting, was it? I did think it was a good service. Thank you very much.
Thank you, press. Thank you.
Not too exciting, was it?
All right. It's the broader, other than Trump having to suck it up for this. And I guess that's a really good quality. I'd like to see more of mixing it up, saying, yeah, that's it. That's it. I'm stopping it. You're not hiding behind the prayer or anything else. Or I wouldn't even mind if Biden said, enough already. I've had it. Biden walks out because of that. I'm not opposed to any of that. You know, it's got to be difficult. I've seen this situation where you're placed in a position where you're not allowed to say anything. I'm not on board with that too often. I get the ceremony. Dan, what did you think? Could he have said something there? And we'd have World War III.
Yeah, no, I think you kind of just let it be, right? Yeah.
Well, all the other stuff, that's just politics. But saying that these kids are trembling and under fire across, this is dangerous stuff. They're creating anxiety in these kids. Nothing's going to happen to you, kid, but you're not going to play against females. All right? I'm traumatized. Now, have a nice life. That's what this comes down to. And there are two sexes. You're not a cat. You can be one if you want, but in public, the U.S. government position is there are two sexes. I wonder who chose her for this, to be a bit more diverse. Look, a different point of view, saying to the president, hey, consider this about people that are here illegally. Okay. The kids part is the part that bothers me there, because that's just creating this fiction that becomes reality for some kids. All right, a lot of folks want to get in. Jim Worthington will be here at 2 o'clock, 855-839-1210.
By registering for the next Crash Proof Retirement educational event, you'll see real statements from Crash Proof Retirement clients documenting how the exclusive Crash Proof Retirement system credits double-digit interest returns, even during the worst of recent stock market downturns.
Rob Lukens, Birdsboro, Pennsylvania. During COVID, when everything was going down in the stock market, we saw our investment with Crash Proof grow 15%, which was unheard of. Markets weren't growing that way. The interest we made through Crash Proof's investments, we keep it. We don't lose anything. We keep every penny that we invested. The worst that's going to happen is you keep your money. Crash Proof gives me great peace of mind. And I would recommend anybody who sees this or hears this to give Crash Proof a call. Pick the phone up, call. It's simple.
Schedule an appointment or register for our next event at the Copperfield Inn on January 22nd. 800-722-9728 or crashproofretirement.com.
If you want jazz music, go to New Orleans. Bagels, New York. And for psychics, think California Psychics. You want the best, you go to the best. At California Psychics, home of free spirits and open minds, we know better than anyone what makes a good psychic. That's why we guarantee if your reading isn't life-changing, it's free. Visit CaliforniaPsychics.com and experience the joy of certainty. California Psychics.
I had the worst dream last night. You were in a car crash and the kids and I were on our own. We had to move out of the house because I couldn't afford it anymore.
That's awful, hon.
My brother was saying he got life insurance from Ethos. With Ethos, it only took 10 minutes and he got $2 million in coverage for around $2 a day. It's all online. No medical exam. He just answered a few health questions right from his house.
Ethos, here we come.
Visit GetEthos.com. That's GetEthos.com.
Sample rate is a 10-year term life policy for 35-year-old healthy, non-smoking male. Billed monthly.
Hey, this is Jimmy Fallon in the house, and dig this, folks. This is not a drill. It's the real thing. You can now join me weeknights from 7 to 10 p.m. on Talk Radio 1210 WPHT or anywhere on the free Odyssey app.
All right, Dom Giordano show. You heard the Reverend there. And I guess in public life, you can't mix it up. You have to sit there if you're the president, or in the case of Biden, with Trump. I just hate those situations where one person knows the other person can't say anything. I think that's not speaking truth to power. In either instance, it's, it's a little bit too much of an advantage. Let's go to Don in Ocean City, though. Don with an N. Hey, Don, good afternoon.
Yeah, thanks for taking my call.
You're welcome.
I'm a grandfather of a young man who resides in the South with his family, and he is gay. He is an adult. He's 20 years old, and he doesn't participate in women's sports. He doesn't try and go into women's bathrooms. He's a gay young man who acts what I would say in a respectful way towards others. And he and his family, my daughter and her husband, are concerned. They're afraid. In the South, people are not very nice when they speak about gender issues that don't comport with their religious or their personal beliefs. And unless somebody who speaks about this issue talks about it with compassion and urging understanding and respect, the message comes across to those who are not very nice when they talk about this. It comes across as encouraging and legitimizing what they say and how they act.
Well, let's break this apart, Don. So President Trump, or no Republican that I see, is attacking people that are gay. So is he gay or is he transgender?
I agree, and I have expressed that. The problem is, nor does North, and I voted for Trump this past time. I voted for him in the prior election. I'm glad he won. I support his policies, but I don't hear urging people to be respectful of others with whom they disagree. And the absence of that it creates a tremendous void, and it results in some encouragement, indirect, unintended perhaps, encouragement of those who are disrespectful and who aren't patient.
Yeah, but wait a minute, Don. But saying there are only two genders. Tell me.
That's not a problem. There's only two for the federal government purposes. There's only two genders, and it's determined by reproductive rights, and I don't have a problem with that. But it comes across. Yeah, it cannot. You minimize the effect it has on the lives of those who fall into those minority groups, like gays, lesbians, transgenders, and I don't pretend to understand all of the ramifications of that. All I know is I support my children and grandchildren unconditionally with my love.
Of course. But
I
Don,
understand, I understand, but you can't minimize the effect the absence of encouraging mutual respect has on those who feel on a daily basis in some parts of this country, on a daily basis, the snide and disparaging remarks of others who talk about them.
Okay, Don, the only thing I would say is we're in a different America here where the progress toward acceptance of people that are gay and mainstreaming and all that is underway. I'm not in the South on a daily basis to see this. I think you're always going to have individuals who might engage in stuff because of their own issues. But Don, it's a different world here, and the number of prominent gay Republicans, et cetera,
I point that out. Trump appointed a gay person. I think it's one of his cabinet appointees is gay, and I understand that. And that there are things that can be said, but you can't minimize in some parts where you don't hear it so much in our area, but when you venture into certain parts of the South, let me tell you, it's real, and it's very difficult for people to feel comfortable, even if they agree that there's two genders, even if they agree that I'm a male and I don't use women's bathrooms, and I don't play in women's
I got you.
sports.
Thank you, Don. Well, look, the bottom line is though, this must have been going on during if Trump and Trump people are not egging any of this on, and this is still going on, then they have to now tell people something. No, this is creating something that is its own destiny here. And again,
wrong with that?
Yeah. In the South, I don't want to get into making judgment on that either. The transgender part of this, though, is separate. It's a pretty obvious thing. People have had it. And in the last election, we catalog how the Trump people spent about $36 million on those ads because it moved the needle with people who said, enough of this stuff. That's not anti-gay. It has nothing to do with that. All right, 855-839-1210. Our host yesterday, Jim Worthington, is with us. He was inside the cabinet for the Congressional Hall, Rotunda, for the swearing in, and he had dinner with RFK Jr. What did they talk about? What was consumed? Was there bear on the menu? I'll find out next with Jim Worthington.
Wesley is a truck driver.
I drive a truck, and I love what I do.
A truck driver with IRS troubles.
They told me I owed them $43,000.
It got really bad.
Quite a few letters in the mail. They were talking about wage garnishment, coming after my house, my car. Yeah, they don't play around. I seriously thought that I was going to lose everything.
One sleepless night, Wesley finally made a call to Optima Tax Relief at 2 a.m.
Kind of figured I'd get a machine, but I didn't. I actually got to talk to an actual person in the middle of the night.
He found just what he was looking for.
Oh, they were great people. You need a team of people that know what they're doing. Optima Tax, they know what they're doing.
Optima Tax Relief came through with flying colors.
I saved an incredible amount of money. Happy don't even come close. I was absolutely overjoyed.
Take Wesley's advice.
If you're in any kind of trouble with the IRS, call Optima Tax Relief. Don't trust anybody else.
Call Optima for a free consultation. Call 800-354-2840. 800-354-2840. 800-354-2840.
Optima Tax Relief.
Some restrictions apply. For complete details, please visit OptimaTaxRelief.com.
When it comes to your home, trust is everything. For 45 years, Kitchen Magic has built a reputation for transforming kitchens with precision and care. From custom cabinets to countertops, backsplashes to storage solutions. And we get the job done fast. In just a few days, your dream kitchen becomes a reality without the hassle. So trust the name your neighbors have relied on for decades. Kitchen Magic. Get your free in-home consultation at kitchenmagic.com and let's cook up something extraordinary.
Stop buying gold online. Edelman's Coins is the Philadelphia area's largest buyer and seller of gold and silver bullion. Family owned for 99 years, Edelman's Coins has continued to provide ultra-competitive pricing paired with unparalleled customer service. With transparent buy-sell spreads, you know you will always get a fair deal. When buying or selling bullion or coins, think Edelman's Coins. Call 215-572-6480 or visit edelmanscoins.com.
Do you have 3 ex-wives and your current trophy wife wants a life insurance policy 3 times the size of the policies you had to purchase for your previous mistakes? If so, you need to call Big Lou at Term Provider, 800-511-3535. Big Lou is intimately familiar with your problems, and if you're 50 or 60 years old and in reasonably good health, a $1 million policy should only cost about $100 to $200 per month. Big Lou may have a solution for your previous policies as well. You may even save enough money to lighten the load on your new $1 million policy. Remember, call Big Lou. He's like you, except he's only on number 2. Call Term Provider, 800-511-3535. That's 800-511-3535. For $1 million in term life insurance that you can live with, call Big Lou at 800-511-3535.
Philadelphia's Talk Radio 1210 WPHT, WPHT HD, WOGL HD3, Philadelphia. From the Piazza Premium Automobile Studios.
Powering your drive with 10 brands and 20 locations.
Always live on the free Odyssey app. It's Dom time. Now, Dom Giordano.
Let me hear you all say E-L-E-S-E-S, Eagles!
That's Terrell Parker making national news, not in a good way. The Eagles chant. I don't understand. WIP routinely down the hall plays, I think Jack Fritz a couple weeks ago, 5 of the worst. Usually people put extra letters in there. They just get crazy that they're going to engage in this, and something is way off. Maybe you have to hold up a card in front of you.
Can we get just one clean one from Dom Giordano?
No, I'm not doing it. The voice. No.
Come on.
No, I'm following my own prescription
All
here.
right.
Yeah. So if you'd like to.
We need one by the end of the week, though. We got the NFC Championship on the horizon.
Yeah, maybe Friday.
All right.
But that's another. I am really sensitive to talking over at events. You know, people are nice, but there's stuff loud playing and you're talking up. That's how, and I've been through it too many times. Once you get into that zone, it's like,
yeah, it's hard to get out.
Yeah. Yep, but I'll do it. That's not that hard. All right. So 855-839-1210.
Ruin your entire weekend.
Yeah. Tom Homan was just on Fox a little while ago, just saw this, and I can't tell you what the reasoning is, but he now said he's the head of ICE. Well, he's the border czar. We are going to shut down the border. That's what we're doing. But we have not seen these ICE actions internally. And again, that President Trump at times puts guardrails on people when he thinks they've gone too far, a.k.a. RFK Jr. with the polio vaccine. Does he think Homan was too public on these raids? And now we have day 2 and nothing has happened. I can't tell if that's it. He signed all these sweeping actions, which are great. But the tell will be when ICE is out there actually deporting people who have orders to be deported. Now, I'm told there's any number of tomorrow we'll have the Heritage Foundation on. I had a great guest on last night talking about this, and she thinks, Trump is trying to avoid an incident where there's violence that the media will pounce on, and then the narrative, and these are difficult situations as far as taking people out. Some of them are in jail already. But day 2, and Homan just on Fox saying,
well, audio if you want.
Oh, yeah. Let's see. Here's Homan. And think of the tone of what Homan has been before, and why now is he backtracking?
ICE officers throughout the country were told today, go make arrests of those here illegally that have a public safety problem, public safety threat. So they've developed target sheets, an operational plan that they go out in the field, the whole team goes. They're out there right now looking for the most serious public safety threats throughout the country. We're putting them back to work. President Trump's a game changer. Every one of the executive orders we worked on, and these are game changers. This is going to give us the most secure border in my lifetime.
All right. So it's a little bit different than we are seeing with the real deportation part of this. We'll see in a moment. He did shut down that CBP One app. That's gone. Jim Worthington will join us at 2:30, I believe. Oh, he's joining now. Okay. He's in the middle of a workout. The guy's been in Washington. I don't know if he ran a marathon or not while he was there. Our host yesterday at the NAC was one of only approximately 600 people that was inside the Capitol Rotunda. And he actually was at the dinner table with RFK Jr. Ooh. Oh, man, did he say, Jim, put down that steak? Do you know what's in that steak? Let's go to Jim Worthington here on Talk Radio 1210. Hey, Jim, welcome back. Apparently,
hey, Dom, how you doing?
It was a whirlwind, I'm sure. Every person I've interviewed that was down there has lost their voice or their mind or both. How are you feeling?
It's a little bit exhausting, I will tell you. I was only down there probably 28 hours. It seemed like 5 weeks. I mean, it was just exhausting. Got down there Sunday at 2 o'clock, had a presidential candlelight dinner that evening, which was amazing. And then I was in the Capitol. I was in the Emancipation Hall. There was only 1,100 people total in the Capitol. I was not in the Rotunda, but I was in the in the Emancipation Hall with a lot of the government, state governor types, the diplomats, the Congress and Senate wives and spouses, and so I was with them, and I felt blessed. That was great. President came down right after that, after his inauguration oath, and came down and addressed us immediately. In fact, when we were privileged, his talk to us was longer than his oath speech. I think he was 20-some minutes there, and he was like 40 minutes with us. But by the way, he was off the cuff downstairs when he addressed us. It was pretty amazing.
Yeah, that's
he didn't let loose.
Yeah, that's what we were told versus what he had to do in the other speech. Now, RFK Jr., Jim, you were around him also. What's your sense of what he plans to do?
Well, yeah, we had dinner with him at a table of 10 people, and I spent about 2.5 hours with his wife Cheryl and my wife Kim. We were right next to him. I mean, he's really going to dive in, obviously, to this nutrition and food sourcing type thing. He's convinced that obesity in America is caused by the processed foods and all the different things that we do in America that they don't do anywhere else in the world. He thinks, a lot of that has to do with just greed and the fact that, you can be able to make these foods last longer and they have longer shelf life, which means that, it cuts the cost for these food companies. And he's very, very concerned about that. Another thing that's really of interest, and, I'm a health club guy, so we really got into this, the lack of testosterone in young males and why he thinks
wait a minute here.
critical.
Greg Stocker's monitoring this for the next producer's test. I'm looking around here, Jim. And Jim, what's your thought on that? Wow, if Kennedy starts getting into this, as I've said, Jim, I don't know about you. Look, Trump is in another world, but close to that, this guy is going to be bringing up stuff like what you just mentioned that will have more people talking, and he's going to break through with suburbanites. This is the government actually helping you. But what did he say about testosterone?
Well, basically that because of the food sources that the people eat, particularly young men, they're lacking the proper levels of testosterone, which causes all kinds of problems. It causes health problems, obviously. In regards to your aggressiveness, it affects the military, sports, all kinds of things. But just day to day, it makes you less aggressive. You don't develop as well. Muscle mass. I mean, it just all works into the whole thing of America's just not healthy, and it's affecting our male population and young males. And so he's really onto that. Just a number of things. I was basically talking to him about, his thing is, and by the way, he's a very fit guy and he works out every day. But, complementing the nutrition thing, which I think is 70% of the problem in America, is exercise. And I think without keeping people moving, that you're never going to solve the healthcare crisis. And exercise is medicine. Of course, he agrees 100%. And then in that, and there's a guy that does it. I mean, by the way, he's all a 6'1". I asked him how much he weighs. He's 190 pounds. He's a rock. I don't know if you've ever seen any of the
I did.
videos that he does.
Yes.
Yeah. So I asked about his fitness regimen and what he does, and it was pretty interesting to hear how he works out weightlifting wise. And he actually is a big believer in weight training, and for all ages, from youth all the way up to seniors, and I believe that as well. I mean, we were, not that cardio is not good, but people get on these ellipticals and treadmills and they pound out an hour a day and they think, okay, I'm fit. Well, no, I mean, you've got to build muscle mass as you get older, because you lose that as you get age. So it was, by the way, it was just amazing. I invited him to Newtown. He's very close to Dr. Oz, who I'm very good friends with. So we talked about that relationship and how Oz is going to, go into the Medicare, Medicaid department of the of HHS. And truth be told, I think if I'm going to play a role in the administration, I'll probably be involved in HHS at some level, not in a paid capacity. I'll never move to Washington. I love Bucks County, but I'll do something on a board, and that's what they're kind of looking at now. So I think that's the other reason why they sat me next to RFK, so that we could exchange some ideas and some things I have in mind to help his cause. He's the boss, so we'll see how things go.
That is even more remarkable. I wrote down in big letters the testosterone. When he starts talking about that in the confirmation hearings, let's hope Elizabeth Taylor's on the other side of the question. God. Oh, my goodness. Jim, yesterday, spectacular at another part of your facilities. Standing room only crowd. Of course, Linda Mitchell, and then your other person for that thing that was, oh, my God. It was as good of an event. We missed having you there. Knew you were going to be in Washington, but it was just stunning. No place like it.
Well, she was beaming yesterday and today. I checked in with her. Sorry I wasn't able to get on the phone with you yesterday afternoon to give you the update.
Yeah.
Then I got pulled into a Pennsylvania congressional meeting with all the congressmen, and I wasn't able to get out in time. But yeah, she texted me and just said, "What a wonderful event! People were really." She was explaining to me when he was taking the oath of office, people were in tears, cheering. They just were so happy to have a place, and what you provided for them, Dom, an opportunity to all get together with Linda's help was just amazing. And my phone was blowing up yesterday afternoon and even today about thanking me for allowing it in our facility. But I said, geez, it was Linda and Dom's, putting it together. I was down in Washington, enjoying the festivities while you guys were up here putting on this great show. And it really, really was great. And also it gave great exposure to Linda and what she's doing with Bucks County votes and, and how we're getting after it. I asked her, I said, well, what's the mood with the people that were there? And she goes, Jim, everybody is anxious to get started. We are ready to go. February 1, we're going to roll out our program. We're going to get voter registration. We're going to get people sign up for vote by mail. They have such enthusiasm. People want to continue, like President Trump says, the win-win-win. And I'm telling you, right off this bullshit about losing the midterms in 2026, I don't believe that's going to happen. I think we have such wind behind our sails that people across Pennsylvania, across this country, are so energized by President Trump and his administration that we're going to turn that paradigm on its head, and we're going to increase our margins in the House and continue the winning that he started here in 2024.
It's very doable, Jim. Thank you. Thanks for that insight. I do hope you have RFK Jr. at the NAC. That would be spectacular. Maybe a workout.
I requested it. I got him on my radar. So, and his wife's she's an exerciser too. So I think I got him convinced.
Oh boy, can hardly wait for that, Jim. Thank you again. By the way, I love the lettering from the the bypass, that you can see the NAC in silver out there. It's very, very fitting. Yeah.
We had to get a special exemption for that, Dom.
Good stuff, Jim. Thank you. Thanks as always.
Thank you, sir.
All right,
Sure.
Jim Worthington here. All right, the testosterone with RFK Jr. Here we go. This guy is going to be in the center ring of all this stuff. Now, this will bring up, I know it's hard to believe, Dan, you weren't around when this, I don't think you were in talk radio then. There was this whole idea, don't eat tofu. That's what the cause of it was. I don't even know whoever ate tofu with the testosterone stuff.
Right,
but
it's all soy, right?
Yeah, the soy stuff. Don't be a soy boy.
A soy boy, yeah.
Soy boy type of stuff that's out there. Do I buy into some of this, that it's the food that's doing it? I'm not going to blame everything on the food. I think RFK Jr. might, that gets people out of the exercise part of it, et cetera. But this is going to be where a lot of excitement happens and a lot of ways for Republicans to connect with people in the suburbs. RFK Jr., their kids, et cetera. Let's see what Madeline Dean says about the food supply. 855.
Decency.
Thank you. That's right. No testosterone talk here. 855-839-1210. We'll get you in, but right now, first, it's
Dom's Money Melody.
All right, we're playing for a pair of tickets to see the great Joe Conklin with the City Rhythm Orchestra Friday, February 21st at the Asplund Concert Hall at Westchester University. For tickets, visit joeconklin.com. Dan?
Yeah, Dom, today we're talking historical television and one of the big series that led to a revolution on the, what is it, the silver screen? Is that what you call TV? No, that's movies.
Small screen.
The small screen. Was this series, Dom, that we're playing the theme for. And we want to know, what is the name of this series that we're playing the theme song for? Don't want to give much more away, but a very big in television history recognizable name. Take a listen. Whoa, 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 Dolly Parton there. Take a listen.
A street that wears a fancy label is glorified in song and fable. The most exciting people pass you by, including a private eye.
And we're looking for what's bleeped out there, Dom.
Okay. And this is another famous address. That's today's side question. Hit us with that at 855-839-1210, AT&T, and Verizon Wireless, and we will send you off to the great Conklin Show. People love it. 855-839-1210.
Diabetes, high blood pressure, anxiety meds, everyone's on them. If you're a 50-year-old male, maybe a bit porky, and you may even have type 2 diabetes, $1 million of term insurance may only cost you about $200 a month. Call Term Provider. Speak with Big Lou at 800-700-6898. Big Lou will find a term life policy for you even if you have type 2 diabetes, are overweight, or have high blood pressure. Term Provider has helped thousands of people like you who think they can't afford term life insurance. To buy $1 million of affordable term life for you, all you need to do is call Big Lou at 800-700-6898. Lou will make sure the scales are tipped in your favor. Call 800-700-6898. Big Lou will answer your call and work to fit you into a term life policy that you can afford. Remember, Big Lou's like you. He's on meds too. Call 800-700-6898. 800-700-6898 or biglou.com.
As a business owner, you wear a lot of hats. One minute you're ordering today's inventory, and the next you're planning tomorrow's expansion. It's complicated, but your business credit card should be simple. With the Signify Business Cash Card by Wells Fargo, you earn unlimited 2% cash rewards on purchases for your business with no caps or categories to track. Signify Business Cash, the deliberately simple business credit card. Learn more at wellsfargo.com/signify. Terms apply.
Local news can come at you fast. Want the latest on what's happening in your backyard? Download the free Odyssey app. Follow your local news station, and you'll get alerts on the top stories making headlines in your city. You can stay in the know, no matter what you're up to, and be among the first to find out when news breaks. Plus, keep tabs on weather and traffic, so you're never caught off guard. To get started, download the Odyssey app. That's AUDACY, and follow your local news station.
Free speech lives here. With Dom Giordano, weekdays noon till 3 on Odyssey's #1 talk station, 1210 WPHT.
It's Dom Money Melody.
Where has all the money gone?
Show me the money.
That's exactly right. Let's hear the clue today. And famous addresses is what we're looking for. Hit us with this address.
A street that wears a fancy label is glorified in song and fable. The most exciting people pass you by, including a private eye.
All right, let's go to Ed in Pennsauken on Talk Radio 1210. Ed, what's the address in that song?
77 Sunset Strip.
Yes. Who was the parking attendant? Ed, do you know that?
Kooky.
Yes. Kooky, lend me your comb, not a brush.
That's it, Dom. That's your song.
That's exactly right. There was a lot of combing of hair, there was Vitalis in that hair, though, not gel. That's one of the biggest breakthroughs in human history. Maximum hair gel versus the Vitalis. Definitely. Ed, you're a winner. enjoy the show with Conklin. Dan, you got a couple of other things on.
Yeah, so 77 Sunset Strip, Dom, as you hear behind me now, I finally got working. Kooky, Kook Me, Lend Me Your Comb. Kooky, a huge character.
Yes.
Really was the foundation for the Fonz and James Dean. And first ever product placement was Kooky as well with Harley Davidson. He'd ride that Topper motor scooter in the show, and then he was on advertisements. And the series itself, 77 Sunset Strip, is known as, in television, the first ever franchise, spawning no fewer than 3 spin-offs, and being the genesis for series that later became such Law & Order, NCIS, CSI, those procedural type drama, the crime dramas. So really revolutionary series there, 77 Sunset Strip.
Ed Burns, right?
Yeah?
Yeah.
He was Kooky. Yeah. Do you name anyone else in the show? Because we couldn't.
Was Robert Stack in the show?
I don't know. Roger Smith, Efren Zimbalist.
Oh, Efren Zimbalist Jr., FBI.
Oh, you know. Wow.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay.
We had to look into it.
It's a weird name, Efren Zimbalist Jr.
Yeah, recognizable, right?
Yeah.
Do you know who Roger Smith was married to?
Anne Margaret.
Wow.
Look at you.
Yeah.
Dang.
No, look.
No,
YouTube.com/.
I told him WPHT.
Nothing there.
Trivia master over here.
Yeah. All right, so it's like CNN and Fox. They gave me the question. No, they did. Okay. Sunny Hostin today. You can just imagine the sunny hostility that Hostin has, that Trump dared bring up DEI on the commemoration day for Martin Luther King Jr. And I want to make a point about Martin Luther King Jr. and how the left and Sunny Hostin see him. Would he be a man of DEI? And one of the best moments yesterday at the NAC is one that African-American young guy, minister, Lorenzo from Detroit, was talking about the embrace across racial lines and all the rest. People stood and applauded in certain sections of where we were at the NAC yesterday. It was a good moment. Here is Sunny Hostin, though, breaking down Martin Luther King Day.
I went to Buffalo Wild Wings and watched Notre Dame.
Finally, I think I agree with Sunny on the fantastic nature of Buffalo Wild Wings. Sorry.
Fortunately, not be victorious, but I went with a bunch of my law school buddies, and we ate wings. And thank you, Tony, who's the manager there, for making me feel good. But the one thing that I did think about was the hypocrisy of having a man be inaugurated to be president on the same day as we commemorate MLK, and that same man saying that he was going to get rid of diversity, equity, and inclusion.
The irony of it.
The irony of it, because Martin Luther King not only wanted racial equality, he wanted economic equality. Yeah. And that is something that people tend to miss. And I want to remind people that he said that Black Americans deserved reparations for the injustices they faced. He argued that reparations were a form of justice, in fact, not charity. And he said, quote, "It's all right to tell a man to lift himself by his own bootstraps, but it is cruel jest to say to a bootless man that he ought to lift himself by his own bootstraps."
Yeah.
And so in thinking about that, and Donald Trump saying things that this country would be a meritocracy, you're talking about a man who didn't become the president of the United States because of merit. He had no political experience whatsoever. He had no business experience. He was given everything that he has. He is a legacy hire. He is, if anything, a DEI hire. Didn't earn
Bring
it
it home,
hire.
Sonny. Bring it home.
So, those were just some of the things that I was thinking about.
So I watched it. I always watch.
All right, Henry, you had something there. No? Okay. All right, so just think of the follow the bouncing ball here. And it always gets me, maybe you too. We look at Martin Luther King Jr. We look at people truly facing lynching, attacks across the South, the lack of basic rights. And we compare that to DEI. And notice she used the word equality. Well, anybody reasonable is about equality of opportunity, but not equity. Equity meaning the same outcome, not the same ability to get an outcome. And on it goes, doing this on Martin Luther King Day. And the idea of diversity is not diversity is bad, but saying that forced diversity, bean counting, quotas, that's what the issue is. Continue to fight this battle. Americans voted on it. They know exactly what we're talking about. Same thing as the transgender battle. We played you in the last hour or two this, and I think I've seen this woman occasionally. They bring in the bishop in Washington and her around Christmas or whatever, and we hear the left-wing version of a holiday making the point to President Trump at this prayer breakfast today that apparently the stuff that he's saying is giving huge anxiety to parents and their kids who may be gay. Based on what? What is it that is being done here that's creating that anxiety? Again, this is the only refuge they have. This is the playbook. This is what they'll always go to. And the American people have spoken. So then you have to say the American people are demanding this stuff because they're a bunch of racists, misogynists, homophobes, up and down the line. That's what that percentage of Americans are about. I played you earlier, Donnie Deutsch, who's a real anti-Trump guy. He's an advertising guy, big shot in New York, who is on Morning Joe. And he says that Trump is giving people what they want. And this time around, the people that were involved in this coalition were historic numbers of younger people, African-American, and particularly Hispanics. But there's no other person on The View. They occasionally talk about, we need somebody there that would be a Trump supporter, not the woman who's a turncoat from Trump, used Trump, and then now is on national TV to attack him. They need somebody who's legitimately conservative, Trump supporter. They can't handle it. They cannot handle debate. They just resort to talking over each other, emotionality, and Hostin, bitterness, hatred. But you heard so many different that Trump was just given everything. Now, it's true with the father, all that. We know that. But look at the run for the presidency. And he doesn't have merit. She said something there that's so appropriate to break down. Trump doesn't have merit because he had no political experience. That's the whole idea of what people want. They don't want someone that goes through the typical traditional political lens. They wanted an outsider. They wanted someone, though, who was shrewd enough, as political as anybody you're ever going to see, to fight for them and to win. They didn't want the garden variety of politicians. They cannot get that thought in their head. They cannot counter this. 855-839-1210. AT&T and Verizon Wireless. All I need you to do is push pound 1210. Let's go to Robert in Ben Salem, who was one of our Big Four stars yesterday. Sorry, no football was thrown yesterday. They gave me a deflated football. I didn't think that was fair to throw it 50 yards yesterday, so I decided not to do that. Let's go to Robert. Hey, Robert, welcome in.
Hi, Dominic, Dan. It's good to talk to you guys today. And again, thank you for yesterday. It was a wonderful day with a lot of wonderful people. I had the honor of meeting the lovely Roe and got to hang out with a couple of the other ones. But I also got to meet Joe from Columbus, and that was great. We had a good conversation. It was a great day, just a great day, and we deserved it. So, but I want to let everything else slide just to get to my side answer, because I tried to go a little outside the box and tried to put it into a context of the Dom show. And it occurred to me that I could easily see you saying, what is the Mount Rushmore of famous addresses? So I give you 13,000 Highway 244 in Keystone, South Dakota. That is the address for Mount Rushmore.
Nice
you guys
looking
have
that
yourselves
one up.
a great day.
That's a great one. All that coming because O'Reilly tells me Trump keeps bugging him. How do I get to be on Mount Rushmore? Oh, man. I don't know if he actually believes they could put another Visage up there, knock somebody off from Mount Rushmore, or he's saying it metaphorically, but there you go. Yeah, great work by Dan yesterday. We had Earl, Robert of Bensalem, Dave of Somerset. That's quite a trip there. Joe of Columbus, some of the real regulars with us there. And we're already working on other upcoming events. You'll be hearing about them. Some things around President Trump, maybe first 100 days, something like that, which at this pace are going to be beyond exhausting. All right, your reaction to Sonny Hostin. And again, the current DEI movement versus what Dr. King was about. You know, they want to argue that if he had lived, he'd be in the DEI movement today. I don't see it that way. That's not what he was talking about, against all odds. And trying to say they're going to hijack that to make the point that Trump is a legacy, is a DEI hire. Think of what he went through to get this presidency. Not one, but two. One attempted assassination, the other he was hit. The big four court cases, all the stuff that went into that. And just the daily drumbeat of one hoax, one attack after another. And particularly the family cost of that, to be involved in it. All right, 855-839-1210.
Twitter's now digging up some old audio of the pastor that delivered the
okay. We might have some of that coming up.
Yeah, we have some coming up on that.
Yeah, we'll have that. And my buddy, Sergio Gordon, you may not have seen this. There was a big party. Look, they're going crazy party Sunday night. And maybe he let the cat out of the bag. He talked about all the dignitaries. This is Don Trump Jr.'s best friend, apparently. All the dignitaries there. And he goes, and we're going to have another big announcement joining the Trump administration, Judge Jeanine. Ooh. Now, I don't see Judge Jeanine giving up the 5 and all that for the job that would be on her level. I don't think they seriously thought of Attorney General. That would have been wild. Can you imagine the confirmation hearing, Judge Jeanine Pirro and Elizabeth Warren? Oh, my goodness. But that's what he said. And I haven't seen anything. Fox isn't going to have anybody left at this rate. 855-839-1210. That's how you get on board. And we'll play you a little bit more of this, Reverend. Imagine you have to sit there and hear. You are making LGBT kids have nightmares, Mr. President.
I actually have her audio at a protest in 2020, the Summer of Love. She's talking about President Trump back then.
Okay, we'll have that coming up, and your calls here on Talk Radio 1210.
The core of the coldest air has settled in across the Delaware Valley. It'll be partly to mostly cloudy, high around 20, but feeling colder with the wind. Tonight, very cold once again, becoming partly cloudy, low 10 for the city, single digits in the suburbs, and continued cold on Wednesday, becoming mostly sunny with a high 22.
You're driving along when you realize...
Oh, I've got to get over. Oh my gosh, sorry!
You didn't see him, did you? He was in your blind spot. You can also have a blind spot when it comes to your retirement. That's where Joe Yakovich of JML Financial Group comes in. He knows about a little blind spot called taxes. Social Security, your pension, your investments, all can be taxable. Look, you don't want to end up saying...
Will I be writing huge checks to the government when I retire?
Don't get blindsided by taxes. Make sure your retirement plan has a tax plan. With one call to JML Financial Group, 856-925-6674. That's 856-925-6674. Or at jmlfinancialgroup.com. Securities and investment advisory services offered through Brokers International Financial Services, LLC, member SIPC. Brokers International Financial Services, LLC is not an affiliated company. JML Financial Group does not offer legal or tax advice. Please consult the appropriate professional regarding your individual circumstance.
Feel like everything's clouded by doubt? Visit CaliforniaPsychics.com. Our psychics are available to talk 24/7, and we guarantee if it's not life-changing, it's free. Experience the joy of certainty. California Psychics.
If you can plan barbecues and weddings, you can plan to protect yourself from a natural disaster. Sign up for local alerts, prepare an emergency kit, and make a family communications plan. Get started at ready.gov/plan.
Brought to you by FEMA and the Ad Council.
Hey everyone, it's Ted from Consumer Cellular, the guy in the orange sweater, and this is your wake-up call.
If you're paying too much for wireless service, you don't have to keep having that nightmare. Consumer Cellular has the same fast, reliable coverage as the leading carriers for less. And for a limited time, new customers receive their second month free when they sign up and use promo code SECONDFREE by January 26th. So why keep spending more than you have to? Seriously, wake up and call 1-888-FREEDOM or visit consumercellular.com.
Taxes, fees, and other third-party charges will apply. See website for additional details.
Enhance your home's curb appeal with new doors and windows from Emmons Roofing and Siding.
Our high-quality products offer style, security, and energy efficiency.
And you can choose from a wide selection of styles and finishes from major brands like Anderson or Provia.
Call Emmons today at 856-885-6677 or visit us online at callemmons.com.
From top to bottom,
to inside and out,
at Emmons, we have you covered.
Let King Shooter Supply in King of Prussia help protect you and your family. King Shooter Supply has over 200 years of combined firearms experience to help you get what you need to protect what you love. They gladly welcome beginners into their family of competitive shooters, recreational shooters, law enforcement professionals, and hunters. They'll guide you through the nuances of finding the right firearm, ammunition, and accessories that you need for self-defense. Visit them at 346 East Church Road in King of Prussia. Visit them on Facebook or at kingshooters.com. Don't miss the Education Show with Dom Giordano every Sunday morning at 5:30. Find out how you can help your child or grandchild succeed. Sponsored by New Hope Academy.
Talk Radio 1210 WPHT from the Piazza Auto Group Studios. Experience the power of one with 8 brands and 25 locations.
All right, it is Dom time. So we've been following this woke Anglican, I guess she's a bishop, who often you'll see around the holidays, they bring on one of the Sunday shows to try to be even more progressive than the cardinal, the Catholic cardinal that's sent on, lecturing President Trump at the prayer breakfast today, not just about illegal immigrants, but about kids that are gay. The illegal immigrants, that's one thing she might say, leaven it with compassion. But the other, outrageous. Dan, this is a little bit of her previous actions during the George Floyd summer.
Yeah.
Okay.
Why did you want to come out here and send
their message? It is a message of a call for justice, for swift justice for George Floyd, for systemic justice for all brown and black people who have been under the knee of this country in ways that we have witnessed time and again. This is wrong. And this rising up, this spontaneous uprising of people, mostly half my age or younger, they're the ones we should be listening to.
And they're angry at the president.
They're so angry.
They're angry at the president. So what is your message to President Trump today?
Well, I've given up speaking to President Trump. We need to replace President Trump. We need leadership that will lead us in the ways that this country deserves.
Thank you.
All right, then. Dan, this is somebody you have to sit there at these prayer breakfasts. It takes a lot to be president and have them lecture you that you are creating anxiety in these families and these kids. The illegal immigrant part we played you that she said, that's one thing. That's politics. This other stuff, though, they won't give it up. It's pretty simple. America is saying it's over. We're not going to take this anymore. You're not going to continue this battle infecting female sports. You're not going to do this in schools. I know it's going to be house by house, school by school. But in the end, this insanity is going to stop. And someday we're going to look back on people that were condoning these operations, puberty blockers, etc. And people are going to think this is as ghastly as it gets. It's going to be reminiscent of other wacky things, but these are with kids. I don't think she would come on, Dan. People are driving off the road, hearing this stuff and taking the opportunity. All right, she thinks she's speaking truth to power. I get it. The president can't say anything. What are you going to do? You got to suck it up when you're president. Let's go to 855-839-1210. Let's go to John in Westchester, and John's in on Talk Radio 1210. Hey, John, thanks for the wait. Go right ahead.
Hi, Dom. Hi, Dan and Henry. I had originally called to tell you that her name is Bishop Marion Budd.
Okay.
She's the spiritual director of the Episcopal Diocese of Washington, D.C. and the National Cathedral. And she exemplifies the intellectual and emotional superficiality and lack of depth and understanding of, true thought and true, like, Voltairean or Rousseau-like intellectual progression. That what she does is, instead of giving strength of spirit and strength of character to the people who may be feeling like that, all she does is throw gasoline on the situation and create more problems than were there in the beginning.
John, in short, she might be the hidden participant that we need on The View. She'd be perfect on The View. She can add an evangelical touch to it.
She's about 150 pounds light.
Okay. And John, what is your address?
My address is Broad and Pattison, the home of the 2025 NFC Championship game.
Ooh,
all right, John, that means you must have a prediction there.
Well, my prediction is the same one I have every week. The Eagles are going to win. Doesn't matter whether they are or not. That's who I predict is going to win, and I've been right 16 times this season.
Hey, John, can you show Dom what it is to be a true Philadelphian and give us one of those great Eagles chants?
Watch it. He's baiting you. Don't mess up, John.
Absolutely.
To play it forever.
Absolutely.
Ready? All right.
Absolutely. EAGLES, Eagles!
All right,
all right, John.
Let me
Very
hear
nice.
You all say ELGLES.
I went to Catholic school. I can spell. So.
How's your penmanship, John?
Well, I'm visually impaired now, so now it's terrible, but it was less than good.
So, John, do you read Braille?
No, it was progressive, and so I listen to audiobooks. I read maybe 3 hours a night. So.
Oh boy! All right. Well, John, thank you. Great
Thank
call.
you, John.
And 3 hours with you, Dom.
Well, there you go. That counts for a whole lot right there. Thank you, John.
Right.
And thank you for spelling
You're
Eagles
welcome.
correctly, sir.
Yeah, thank you very
Yes.
much. Because I was going to ask about the cursive thing. Greg Stocker was so effusive after yesterday's event. He said, yeah, I think further producers should have to write the Palmer method of penmanship.
It doesn't know.
And read
There's
cursive.
no reason for it. There's no reason
yes.
for it.
There were signs all over the place. Bring back cursive.
I have an example of someone who might not know cursive.
Let me hear you all say ELGLES, Eagles.
You know what? She knows cursive, Dom, and she still spells
Yeah,
like that.
that's
So you
true.
know what? That's against.
Sherelle Parker was an English teacher. And
She was.
She's pretty literate and named her son Langston
We should have
after
a-
the great poet Langston Hughes.
We should have organize an English teachers playoffs or something like that between you and Sherelle.
Oh, my goodness.
Yeah,
Well,
line up some old students, see how they're doing now.
She hasn't fulfilled her pledge to come on the show, so I'm a little bit off-put by that.
Yeah.
This is Cut 12, though. I wanted to update this because we haven't heard it from Trump. In fact, he told Susie Wiles, who's the chief of staff, to get on this, Dan. Here, President Trump, because I'm not giving up on this, was asked about the New Jersey drones. Cut 12.
But is it anything, these drones, is it anything that people need to be worried
No, I think it's terrible. I would like to find out what it is and tell the people.
And can you commit to some kind of...
In fact, I'd like to do that. Could we find out what that was, Susie? Okay? Yeah, why don't we find out immediately? I mean, I can't imagine it's an enemy or there would have been, people would have gotten blown up all over. Maybe they were testing things. I don't know why they wouldn't have said what it was.
Well, it's honesty.
They had a lot of them flying over Bedminster, which is interesting.
And with the events today...
All right, so Susie Wiles is the chief of staff. I can see her nervously with the pad. Get on the drones. Are we going to know what happened to the drones?
There's been a lot of conversation on Reddit, Dom. People are like, you know what? I give Trump some grace here. He's got some other things he's got to worry about, but it's nice to know that he's on it still.
I thought he would know. I thought he would be briefed if there's any government thing, but who knows how these things work. And again, if we just go past this, we get tired of it. The media wants you to be tired of it. Those drones should not be there. There's got to be what people want are definitive answers or whatever's reasonably definitive to this. Simple question. We ought to know today. Put someone in charge on this. Susie Wiles, the chief of staff. How would you like that job? Oh, my God. Apparently, she knows how to let Trump operate in certain spaces and try to clue him when it goes too far. Everybody needs that person. By the way, I think I have a great side question from Lamar if I could read my own handwriting. Oh, I could not unveil the salmon-colored shirt, ladies, today.
Oh, why not?
Because it still has the sales thing on it, the tag. And I'm
We
looking
really couldn't
all
find a
over
pair
the
of
place.
scissors?
This is a giant corporation, no pair of scissors. So tomorrow, probably 1 o'clock hour, we'll unveil it. But I might be doing something on a famous article of clothing because this was a much sought after. I had to bring Roe in on the hunt. We did get it at Boscov's on Saturday night.
Wait, so you're telling me, like, what is this
His
tag
excuse
look
is that he
like?
doesn't have scissors.
Well, yeah.
It has
you
a
can't
string
just-
on it. Yeah.
It's a string.
I
It's not-
tried to pull it in.
It's not the plastic tag.
No, it's a string. Yeah.
I mean, a string I can understand. I still think it's a little weak, but I get it.
I'll
I
wear
get
it tomorrow.
There
I don't
should
want
be
to
a
wear
pair
the
of
string.
scissors.
It's-
There should be a pair of scissors somewhere.
Yes, an entire station. There are no scissors. I've gone through drawers back there, asked secretaries, etc. Well, there's a whole array of 100 computers and nobody that's ever back there. So God knows what's there. All right.
I thought you were a no S guy. At the end of scissors, I thought you would call it a pair of scissor.
No, it's a pair of scissors. There's
yeah,
two.
I know, but there are
There's
people
two
that
of
say pair of scissor, and I thought you were one of them.
No, that's you're thinking of attorneys general. Now,
Oh,
that would be,
okay.
Yeah, that's it. Yes, because they're each individual. All right, Joe of Exton is next. It is the lightning round. Hit us with your all-time address. These have been great ones today. We'll decide. Get your name into the hat, and tomorrow the shirt here on Talk Radio 1210.
Attention Medicaid patients.
If you're on Medicaid, how would you like if your caretaker was your daughter, your son, your grandchild, or your close friend? If you're on Medicaid, Freedom Care allows you to choose who provides your care, and that caregiver will get paid instantly after their shift. Yes, your caregiver will get paid instantly, and it's 100% free to you if you are on Medicaid. Call 267-692-3782 and ask Freedom Care how to get started with care today. No more worrying about getting care from an aide at an agency. Freedom Care helps you choose who you want to take care of you, and that person gets paid. Call Freedom Care at 267-692-3782, 267-692-3782 to get started today. You get a caregiver you know and trust, and they get paid instantly after their shift, and it's free to you. Start now by calling 267-692-3782, 267-692-3782, or go to freedomcare.com.
Dawn Stensland here. My friends at Piazza Premium Automobiles feature the latest luxury vehicles from today's top brands. Mercedes-Benz, Jaguar, Land Rover, BMW, Porsche, Alfa Romeo, Maserati, and more. Sleek new designs and innovative features with thousands of new and certified pre-owned vehicles available across Pennsylvania, Delaware, and New Jersey. Piazza Premium Automobiles stands out. Visit PiazzaPremiumAutos.com. Tell them Dawn sent you.
This is Dr. Marianne Ritchie, your radio doctor. Every Saturday afternoon at 5, I talk with doctors and medical specialists from around the country to discuss the latest information about heart disease, cancer prevention, topics in women's health, pediatrics, mental health, and more. Then you can make better decisions for yourself and your loved ones. Your radio doctor, Saturdays at 5, here on Talk Radio 1210 WPHT, because your health is your wealth.
Success is picking up extra shifts for your family. Now you want to be the boss. Success is getting your foot in the door. Now you want to take the next step. Success looks different to everyone, and University of Maryland Global Campus can help you reach your goals. And there's never been a better time to get started on your future. Apply by February 12th and save with no application fee. As an accredited state university, UMGC has been transforming lives for over 75 years. With more than 135 undergraduate and graduate degrees and certificates, online and hybrid courses, personalized support, financial resources, and lifetime career services, achieving your dreams is more possible than ever before. Choose the program that's right for your career goals and get started on your next success. Get your application fee waived through February 12th. Learn more at umgc.edu. Certified to operate in Virginia by Chev.
Be sure to follow Talk Radio 1210 WPHT on the free Odyssey app. Download it now.
It's the Money Melody.
Where has all the money gone?
Show me the money.
Yes. By the way, President Trump revealed which president would he turn to for political advice. And he said Bill Clinton. Yeah. And he said, yeah, they should have listened to Bill Clinton in 2016, but he still would have beaten Hillary. But, yeah, Bill Clinton is the person you'd listen to. Let's go to Joe and Exton.
Before I messed up.
Yeah.
The time has come for the final test.
Play the money melody thing
We
again.
usually call it the lightning round.
That's right. Hit us with that all-time address. Hey, Joe, people asking for you yesterday. That happens every day. How you doing?
Fine. I missed you, Don. I'm glad you're back on. I'm glad you're back on the air. But
hey, Joe, just so you know, you are allowed to call in the rest of the week. If you win early
today,
in the week, we still love to hear from you,
Yeah,
brother.
yeah.
You can just call in without a side question occasionally as well.
Sure.
Yeah.
Okay. And after I provide my answer, I have a comment.
Sure.
My street of renown is 10 Downing Street, residence of the British Prime Minister. Now, for my comment, if Judge Jeanine is not interested in the position, tell Trump to choose Judge Judy. She's a no-nonsense judge who refuses to be bamboozled.
Well put, Joe.
That's a great
Except,
point.
guess who she endorsed as the smart guy that can bring things about? Our buddy, Michael Bloomberg. Oh, my God. Yeah, so that was her
I would have
candidate.
never expected Joe of Exton to be a Judge Judy fan.
No, she is the original no nonsense.
I just rather than watching Judge Judy during the daytime, I would expect like Ken Burns documentary or something on the side, or the life and times of Shakespeare.
The Earl of Tacony, great appearance there yesterday on Talk Radio 1210, is very good at being a doorman too. Earl, welcome in.
I found that slamming doors in people's faces doesn't really accomplish much.
Yeah.
It's fun, but it doesn't really accomplish much. You were talking earlier and the past week about people not being able to read cursive. You got to realize people can't read print. Do you remember a couple of years ago, the city went and replaced all of the street signs? They used to have a capital letter and then lowercase, and the city changed them to all capital letter because they said that ambulance drivers couldn't read lowercase when they were looking for a house.
Oh, I didn't know that. Yeah, Earl, again, this whole thing with cursive, and it's just ridiculous that we even have to live through this, but what are you going to do?
Well, what's wrong with having to write in a different font? I mean, it's technically all it is. You're a two-font person.
Yeah.
But my address is going to be Dom's address and my address. Earth, the third rock from the sun.
Well put. All right, beautiful twist on that. The Bruce of Northeast Philadelphia. What was the Bruce in Braveheart? What was the... It was Bruce of Scotland. It was something Bruce. Let's go to Bruce. Hey,
Maybe
Bruce.
will know.
Hey, Dom, what's up? Dom, you mentioned hair earlier.
Yeah, it was Robert the Bruce. There you go.
Oh, Robert the Bruce.
Yeah.
You mentioned hair earlier. Did you ever use Brill cream?
I did not. A little bit of Vitalis I used. I thought Brill cream was a bit much.
Is Vitalis for the hair?
Yeah, Vitalis for the hair.
I thought Vitalis was for something else.
No, it's for the hair.
You remember the slogan for Brill cream?
No. Little dab will do you. Yes.
Little dab will do you. Go to the fingers through your hair, yeah. Anyway,
Bruce, anyone running their fingers through your hair recently?
Any blondes?
I wish there was,
Come on,
Are you a blonde guy? Is it blondes or what?
I love the blonde. Love the
there
blonde.
you go. All right.
Who's that one that Trump just nominated for the Justice Department?
Pam Bondi. Yes.
She's a looker, man. Jeez.
That's it. She's in.
We'll set it up. We'll set it up, Bruce. You and Pam
confirm it.
Bondi.
When we get Pam Bondi on, we're going to play that cut back for her. Bruce, what's your address?
My address is the Hippie Haven address, where the counterculture congregated. Was Haight Asbury. Far out, man.
There's a blast from the past in San Francisco. Henry, what did you like?
Ooh, yeah. Today's contenders. You know what, I like Gary and Newtown's answer of 23,000th block of Malibu Colony Road.
Okay.
Which would be the set of 2.5 Men.
Okay. Dan, how about you?
We had 10 Downing Street from Joe of Exton, Prime Minister. Big
Right.
one in England. 221 Baker Street. But I like the out-of-the-box third rock from the sun. It's kind of has both the, location and a number in it, so it kind of qualifies.
Was creative,
right?
Yep.
Where are you going, Dom?
I'll go with Earl of Tacony on that. Let's put him in there. All right, Rich Cioli's show next. Rich has you for 4 big hours right here on Talk Radio 1210 WPHT.
The only thing worse than hiring no law firm after your injury is hiring the wrong law firm, and there are so many of them. When thousands of people call us every year asking to help them change law firms and hire us instead, I wonder why they ever called the other firm in the first place. They were smart to switch before it was too late. You only get one day in court. You know who has the resources and results to fight to handle your claim. And the big insurance company on the other side, they know it too. They know us well. You have to know when to hold them, know when to fold them, and know when to walk away. Walk our way. When you're fighting to get